Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Umineko Chapter 6. We are being asked a simple question. How is it playing on the witch's side? It's quite an interesting change, I assume, for Battler, killing people himself and tasking other people to murder his own family. A strange feeling that I can't understand yet, but I assume he just considers them game pieces as he realizes he's realized they only do things when he tells them to do them, including moving, talking, and other things, at least as far as he's told us. Well, let's find out just what Battler thinks it's like playing on the witch's side. It feels strange. I'm sure it is.
かつては魔女側になんて有利なゲームだろうと思ってた。
You used to think the witch's side had such a huge advantage, and now you realize that only people who aren't aware of the game and how it works think that's the case. I mean, and even, I think you could have came to that conclusion pretty quickly, though. The fact that all you had to do was just say the witch isn't real would keep you in the game, or even if you failed to prove stuff at the end of the first game. That should have been the dead tip-off that you were in a hugely advantageous position, is all you had to do was not give up to eventually win. Or at least come to endless draws. Oh well, Battler can be a bit slow at times. Let's not be too harsh on him.
だが、いざ魔女側になってみるととんでもないな。
Now that I'm on that side, I see that's ridiculous.
こいつはまるで樽にナイフを刺してくパーティーゲームみたいなもんだ。
It's like that game where you try to stick knives in the barrel and trying to stab the mustache guy inside. From the perspective of the human side, it feels like trying to shoot a target hidden by mist. From the witch's viewpoint, a stray shot might hit and become fatal.
そんなゲームをかつての私は何度も繰り返していたんですね。
The old me played games like that all the time. Indeed they did.
ああ、まるでロシアンルーレットだ。
Almost like Russian roulette.
それでもお前はいつか俺が気づくと信じてゲームを限界まで繰り返してくれた。
Even so, you believed that I'd eventually notice and stretch those games out to the limit.
私が聞くのも厚かましいですが、
It might be impudent of me to
一
ask.
体バトラさんは何に気づかれたのですか？
What is it you noticed, Battler-san?
かつての私とのゲームの最後の最後で。
The end of your games with the old me? It was a strange question, even though in the past, Beato had always been the one posing it to Battler. Now that Battler figured it out, Beato was the one asking him.
正反対だな。
Our roles have been completely flipped, haven't they?
かつてはお前だけが覚えていて、
In the past,
俺だけが忘れていた。
only you remembered, and only I forgot. And now, only I remember, and only
しかし今度は逆だ。
Right? This time, it's the other way
俺
around.
だけが覚えていて、
Only I
お前
remember.
だけが忘れている。
Only you have forgotten.
不愉快でなければ教えていただけません
Would you
か？
mind telling me what it is?
教えるのは
Telling you would be easy.
たやすい。
And Balor's like, nah, we can't solve anything in this game easily. We have to waste like 50 hours figuring it
で
out.
も教えたくない。
Telling you would be easy, but I don't want to tell you.
意地悪のつもりはないんだ。
I'm not trying to be mean.
俺もわずかに
I just want to believe in a miracle
奇
for a
跡
bit
を信じ
myself.
たい。
奇跡？
A miracle? Yes, this was the single miraculous seed that Battler had left behind. If Beato could remember a certain something without being told, that would prove Beato had truly revived. Though he wouldn't tell her. It was Battler's final seed, which existed because he couldn't abandon his hopes for Beato's revival.
バトラさんが話せないことなら
If you can't tell
私
me,
も
I
聞き
won't
ません。
ask. Battler's being
不愉
obtuse,
快な思いをさせてしまったならどうかお許しください。
considering his life hung in the balance if he wasn't being obtuse. I can understand why he's being stingy, even if it's annoying. He's like, oh, just tell me? It'd be easy to tell you. Fuck you. Like, makes sense. Battler's entire life has depended in the past on him just not telling people anything. Or refusing to acknowledge the things they're putting in front of him. I've displeased you. Please forgive me.
気にすんな。
Oh, don't worry about
俺
it.
が未練がましいだけだ。
I just never know when to give up. As she watched that sad smile, Beato's chest tightened. He was looking at her and seeing the old her. Yes, I must become my former self for his sake. My older sister who gets burned by spider webs, and I who don't must become one. Surely it's more useful to him if I go on a journey to find myself now than if I simply watch over this game.
今回のゲームはいかがです？
How do you feel about this game?
勝てそうですか？
You think you're winning?
勝てるつもりでいるさ。
I intend to
勝っ
win.
て。ベアトの望み通り、この永遠の拷問を終わらせる。
I'll win and end this endless torture, just like Beato wanted.
終わったら世界はどうなるのでしょう？
When it ends, what will happen to the world?
さあな。
Who knows?
どうなるんだろうな。
I wonder.
ただ、それを俺たちは望んだんだ。
However, that's what we wished for.
だから、どんな結果が訪れようとも、
So,
それを受け入れるつもりだ。
no matter what the result is, I'll accept it. So this is what we
私は
wished for in the past.
ど
What
う
will
な
happen to
る
me?
のでしょう？
Beato was uncertain. Even she was probably no more than a piece in this game. If the game ended, would she, one who'd been born out of the game's rules, disappear?
ゲームは消えるだろうな。
The game will probably
だ
disappear.
が俺はもう魔法を完全に理解してい
But
る。
now I completely understand
だ
magic.
からお前をゲーム版の外へ連
I'll
れ
be,
出せる。
I'll be able to carry you off the game board.
それがお前の望みだったはずだ。
I think that was your wish.
私の望み？
I wish?
それ以上
The
は
rest is a
内緒だ。
secret.
お前がそれらを自力で思い出してくれる奇跡を
I'll be waiting for a
俺
miracle.
は待ってるぜ。
You to remember all of that on your own? Alright, Battler. Just telling us. We gotta figure shit out ourselves. Thanks, Battler. Like we haven't figured that out. We've been playing like 5.5 chapters. Do you think we haven't had to figure this shit out yet? Come on, Battler. After smiling bitterly for just a second, Battler laughed and told her not to worry. Apparently it was best if she avoided talking to Battler about her previous self.
じゃあ
あ、
俺はちょっと対戦相手殿の様子を見てくる。
I'll go check on my opponent for a bit. They're probably stewing.
あのバカが次はどんなへりくつを言い出すか楽しみだぜ。
Ah, I can't wait to see what kind of twisted logic that idiot thinks up next.
かつてのバトラさんもそれにかけてはなかなかでしたよ。
Yo, Battler did a lot of that too.
私としましては第2のゲームの第1の番に対する小型爆弾を飲ませて殺したが最高傑作か
They
な。
never drop it. My favorite was the one from the first Twilight of the second game when you said the culprit killed everyone by feeding them small bombs. Small bombs. Chisai Bakudan. Oh my goodness.
それは俺の黒歴史最高傑作だ。
The highlights of my dark past.
早めに忘れてくれ。
Forget it ever happened. As quickly as you can.
はい、そのように努
I
め
will
ます。
try. I'll try. Battler's like, I need to leave now. Battler became a cloud of gold butterflies and disappeared into the darkness. Beato kept bowing until he disappeared completely. To fill his place, a single gold butterfly appeared and became Beato the Elder.
呼んだか、我が妹よ。
Did you call for me, little sister?
はい、
Yes.
あなたのことをもっと知りたいんです。
I want to know more about you.
そして本当の私がどんな存在だったのか知
I
り
want to
たい。
know what the real me is like. Is this Beatrice's imagined
至り
Beatrice?
たいんです。
I wonder what this is supposed to be. I want to become that.
無論、わらわも未来の自分を知りたい。
Of course, I also want to know about my future self. I'm not quite your future self. I died. You died. I was resurrected.
そのために、 わらわたちは互いのすべてを打ち明け合っ
Didn't
た
we
はず。
reveal everything about ourselves to each other for that purpose?
しかし一向にわらわたちは一つとならぬ。
However, we did not become
ど
one.
うやれば一なる自分となれるのか。
I don't understand. What
理解
what
が
do we
で
have
き
to
ぬ。
do to become our single self?
どうやれば
What can we do
私
to
たちは
become
一
one?
つに。
わらわはゼパルとフルフルの試練に期待している。
I have high hopes for the trials of Zapar and Furfur.
勝者に与えるという魔法の奇跡のことですね。
I mean the miracle of magic given to the victors?
その魔法の奇跡とはすなわち一なる自分となれることではないだろうか。
I wonder if that magical miracle means becoming one.
わらわは本来の姿に至れ
I'll
る。
find my true
そ
form.
なたはそれを望むバトラの期待に応えられ
You'll
る。
fulfill Battler's wishes.
バトラも万々歳で、ほう、三
Battler
歩
be
丸く
overjoyed
収まるというものだ。
All three of us will have what we want.
やはり
The trial, right?
これは試練なのですね。
Yes, it's a trial, Beato.
他の二組に負けるわけにはいかんと
It
いう
means
こ
we
とだ
can't
な。
lose to the other two pairs.
ジョージさんとシャノンさん、ジェシカさんとカノンさん、
George and Shannon, Jessica and Cannon.
彼らを踏みにじってしか私は幸せをつかみ取れない。
Only grasp happiness by trampling over them.
条件は同じだ。
The conditions apply to all of us.
他の誰かが恋を成就させれば、そなたを含めた二組が踏みにじられる。
One of the others succeeds in love. The other two groups, including you, will be trampled over.
なぜこんなにいびつな天秤なのでしょう。
Why must the scales be so tilted, I wonder?
いびつとは
Tilted?
恋は得るものと得られないものがいる。
Some will find love, others won't.
ならばそれらが天秤の両端に並ぶことは理解できます。
In that case, you can put the two groups on a scale.
しかし私たちの試練の天秤は3つの皿が並び、1人の勝利のために2人が敗北するとい
However,
う
the scales for our
ひ
trial
どく
have
いびつ
three
なもので
plates.
す。
Two must lose for one to win. It seems horribly skewed.
さあな。
Who knows?
恋の価値とは二組の恋の破綻と同じ価値があるとでも言うのかもしれぬな。
Maybe it means successful love is worth two destroyed loves.
頼りないぞ妹よ。
You're too insecure, little sister.
敗者のことを考えるよりバトラの期待に応えたいという気持ちを優先できぬようでは拾える勝利などないぞ。
If you can't put your desire to answer to battlers' expectations before your uncertainty over what happens to the losers, you won't be able to win anything.
そうですね。
Right?
私も
I won't give up her
譲
victory.
れません。
I wonder if they're gonna have to kill anyone else, or if the losers will be decided. The winners and losers will be decided based on who they killed. I.e., George was willing to kill one of his enemies to see his relationship survive. Jessica was willing to kill a random family member to survive. And then Battler killed himself. Battler killed some version of himself. Beato killed one of her enemies as well. And Shannon and Cannon just killed the weakest people they could find, as they had no enemies. So does murdering someone because they're easy to take out make it better or worse than random? Which is weighted more? Or are they just going to be sent off on more murders? How does Battler weave this story? I'll give up on
他
her
の
victory.
皆さんには本当に申し訳ないですが、みんな
I
恨
don't
みっ
like
こ
doing
な
this
しです。
to the others, but there will be no hard feelings between us and them. If I do lose, I'll give my strongest blessings to whichever of the lovers wins. So I'll fight with all my heart and soul, so that I have no lingering regrets, and I'll win that miracle of magic.
どうだったの
How was it?
第一の晩をめぐっての赤と青の攻防は
How did the red and blue shootout over the first twilight go?
まずは小手調べでした。
We started by testing the waters.
バトラもなかなか張り切っているようです。
Butler seemed pretty eager too, and willingly gave out a ton of red text. She just came back from a fierce fight with Battler where she gathered information by making demands for the red text. It was the old familiar kind of fight reminiscent of when the red text first appeared, or when the use of blue text was first permitted.
得られた成果は
And the result?
まず密室を構築したのはいずれも犠牲者たち本人でした。
First, in all cases, the victims themselves constructed the closed rooms.
そしてそれをクラウスたちが破るまでの間、その密室は完全に維持されていました。
Also, those closed rooms were perfectly preserved until Krause's group broke them open.
さらにその間、外部からいかなる方法でも干渉ができないことを確認しました。
I confirmed during this period all sorts of interference from the outside were impossible. Erica reported this proudly as though it had been a great battle, but Berncastel looked bored as she listened. After looking at her blankly for a second, Lambda Delta spoke her opinions frankly.
ちょっと待ちなさいよ。
Wait a second.
それってつまり密室殺人は完璧ってだけの話じゃないの？
Doesn't this mean this closed room murder was perfect? Erica sweating. The victims sealed the closed rooms themselves. The closed rooms were preserved until Krause and the others broke them open. No one was in the room except for the victims. And Krause's group, the ones who broke the room open, were not the culprits. In this way, she managed to win several little red truths like these. Normally, simply collecting such vital information would have been enough. However, the Master Witch, tired with boredom, had expected a more flashy argument-winning victory instead of this bland result. Yeah, it's a closed room.
しかしながら、私は今回探偵権限を持たないので、検視を誤認する可能性がありました。
Time I don't have detective's authority. There's a chance I messed up when examining the corpses.
ですので、仮死状態を生み出す薬などで私の検視を欺いたと仮定して、その...
If we assume that a drug that mimics death was used to fool my examination of...
プルプルピコピオ？
You mean Puru Puru Pico Puyo?
違います。
Oh, I thought that.
例えばインシュリンとか基地の薬物でも一時的に仮死状態を作ることは不可能ではありません。
It's not impossible for certain well-known drugs, such as insulin, to bring about a temporary state that mimics death.
バトラからは赤き真実による反論はありませんでした。
Well, it didn't counter that with the red truth.
つまりは私の青き真実が通ったということです。
In other words, my blue truth worked.
まずは勝利かと。
I think we started with a victory. To sum up Erica's report, all she did was listen to red truths Battler wanted her to hear. Only the information Battler wanted out there had been shown, and she hadn't been able to strike any weak points. No detectives are... She's not claimed any. Although, I feel like the scenario has been set up such that she, for at least for a while, she was going to be getting things as if she had detective's authority. Perhaps for the second Twilight, people will be more resistant to giving out all the information she wants. Or letting her run wild. She was like a kid who'd gone out shopping and then forgot her job and only bought candy. However, this was all the players on the human side could do. Without detective proclamation, she could only fight by collecting dull bits of information like that. However, her master had been expecting more than that sort of dull fight. So she tried to give a report energetically to make it seem as though they were in a superior position. No matter how much she tried, though, the cold expression of her master remained merciless.
青き真実が通った
Your blue truth worked? No, he merely didn't give you the red to defeat
バ
you.
カバカしくて切り返さなかっただけでしょ
If he didn't cut it down, it's probably just because it's too stupid. Oof.
自称名探偵が大した推理だこと
You call yourself a great detective with reasoning like that.
私なりには慎重に検視を行ったつもりです。
I did try to examine the corpses with care, to the best of my abilities.
ですが探偵権限がないので、その
But I don't
そ
have
れ
a
でも
detective
絶対
authority,
とは言い
so
切
we
れず、
can't be certain.
何よ、あんたが自分で探偵宣言を放棄したんでしょ？
Wait a second, weren't you the one who decided not to make the detective proclamation? I think they're just bullying her. 'cause it
前
was
回の汚
part
名を返上するためにレートを上げたいとか言い出して。
Didn't you say you want to raise the stakes to make up for your disgrace like last time? Like last time? Yeah, of last time? Yeah, she screwed up last time.
それは
No complaining about not having the authority when you decided you didn't want the authority anyway.
なに
What's wrong?
探偵権限がないとバトラーには勝てないって
You saying you
そう
can't win
いう
against
の
Battler without the detective's authority?
そんなことはありません。
Not true, my
我
master.
があのような無能探偵権限などなくても簡単に勝てます。
I could easily defeat an incompetent like that, even without the detective's authority. She doesn't seem very confident. She's very nervous about this all of a sudden.
これまでと戦い方がちょっとだけ違ってまだ慣れない
Style
だ
of
けで
fighting's a little different from what I'm used to. I haven't gotten the hang of it yet. Excuses, excuses. I thought it was easy. As far as humans go, Erica was quite talented. Her knowledge and powers of memory and insight were well ahead of the pack. It was likely no human was more well suited to being a detective than she was. And, however, no matter how much of an advantage she might have had over other people, that didn't matter in the witches game. You're here to kill witches, not other people. In the witches game, it's either 0 or 100. In other words, everything is either the red truth or, well, it isn't. If a normal human was worth a 10, her exceptional power would be probably rated on 99. However, if it's not 100, it doesn't matter. However, it could never be 100. If it's not 100, it couldn't be absolutely certain. So it didn't count as red truth. For example, the examination of the corpses that Erica had worried over in the fight just now. If she had performed it with the detective's authority, she would have said with 100% certainty they were alive or dead. However, without the detective's proclamation, it was 99%. There was a 1% chance she'd made a mistake, and that overturned the foundation of the examination. Erica gained the detective's authority and became the Witch of Truth because Berncastel had supplemented her talent of 99 with an additional 1. Simply because Berncastel wouldn't give her that 1. In the world of witches, Erica's 99 was treated the same as 0. She couldn't even use her great assistant Delanor without a power of 100. When working under an Erica who'd lost the detective's authority, Delanor's red longsword lost its power. Delanor was also irritated she couldn't provide full assistance. He had tried several times to convince Erica to use Detective Proclamation, but Erica had stubbornly refused each time. Delanor's a stickler for the rules, it is what it is.
しちゃえばいいじゃない。探偵宣言。
Why not just do it? Make that Detective Proclamation.
そうすればあんたも100人力。
If you do, you'll be unstoppable.
ドラノールも破壊たちとノックス実会でバッサバサじゃない。
Delanor could even use her red longsword in the Nox Decalogue.
したければすれば
Why not do it if you want? Yes, 99.999. It's not equal to 1, it's equal to 0. They have some serious rounding problems. They only round to whole numbers and they only round down. No. There wasn't a need for anyone to explain. By now it was clear that Erica hadn't abandoned the Detective Proclamation by her own will.
前回のゲームでバトラーが真相にたどり着いた時点で
When Battler reached the truth during the previous
も
round,
はやこのゲームは終わりだったのよ
this game was already finished.
今回のゲームは実は第6のゲームじゃない
Isn't really the 6th game?
バトラーがゲームマスターとして記念に最後に執り行うフィナーレのゲームなのよ
One so that Battler can have a chance to serve as Game Master at the end.
もう決着は前回ついている
The result was already decided last game.
まあそういうことよね。
Pretty much. Okay, Lem Delta.
無限にゲームが続かなくなり、私とベルンの賭けは私の負け。
Games won't continue forever, and I've lost my bet with Burn.
今回バトラがゲームの真相に至ったことを証明して、
In this game, Battler will prove he's reached the game's
ベ
truth.
アとのゲームは見事打ち破られて、人間側の大勝利。
And then, Veeta's game will be destroyed in a big victory for the human side.
そしてベルンも大勝利
And a big victory for Burn, too.
のはずなのに、なぜか不服なのよね。
Supposedly, but you look unsatisfied for some reason.
ええ、不服よ。
I'm still not
こんな
satisfied.
つまらない勝利。私は望んでないの
I。didn't want such a boring victory.
ベルンが望む勝利はベアとのゲーム版を徹底的に引き裂き
Indeed. Burn Castell's Daishori. The victory you did want had Beato's game board being torn to bits.
ベアとのみすぼらしい正体を暴いて徹底的に泥を舐めさせて踏みにじること
And Beato's true, pathetic form exposed, humiliated, and trampled on.
だからバトラのこの勝利はちょっと違うのよね
But this victory of Battlers isn't quite like that, is it?
愛だの、約束だの。
All this about love and promises.
静かにゲームを終わらせて、安らかに眠らせる。
Isn't that good? 0.01 equals 1%. Isn't that good? No, it's 1 equals it's 1%. You either get 100 or 0, and they round down. They're pretty brutal. So 99.9 equals 0. But anything plus 1%, anything that goes above 100 is nice. All it's about love and promises. He wants to end the game quietly and let her sleep in peace.
そんなゲロ臭い終わり方、誰が望んだってのよ。
That sort of ending would make anyone vomit.
私はね、
You don't like
そん
Battler's
な終わ
ending?
り方のためにバトラに助言を与えたわけじゃないのよ。
I didn't give Battler all that advice so we could end things like that.
妹を背中でひき肉にしてやったわ。
I had his sister turn to scrap meat behind his
両
back.
親や親族を何度も何度もむごたらしく殺させてやったわ。
I had his parents and family killed horribly over and over again.
それはすべてベアトに対し怒りの復讐をかきたてるため
All
よ。
to spark a desire for revenge against Beato. And what's he do? He starts simping for her. Sorry, Burn Castell.
それがこの
No.
終わり方は
What
何
kind of ending is this? The simp's ending, where all he does
私の勝利
is shell for Beato. If I won? Have you really won? I don't think so.
とんでもない。バトラは私もあんたも喜ばせない勝利を手にしたわ。
Battler's gotten his... Of course not. Battler's gotten his hands on a victory neither you nor I can stand.
私はね、
I had to withstand
ベ
a
アトリ
staggering
ーチェ
period
が
of
ズ
boredom
タズタのボロボロに引き裂かれるところが見たくて、
just to come all the way out to this backwoods
は
territory.
るばるこんな辺境までやってきて、気の遠くなる退屈な時間に耐えてここにいたのよ。
Just so I could see Beatrice lamely and pathetically torn to little bits.
こんな腐りかけのヨーグルトみたいなかけらをすすらされるためじゃない。
I didn't come here to sip from a rotten yogurt fragment like this.
ああご立腹の顔も素敵だわベルン
At least Lambda Delta is enjoying herself. Ah, your angry face is wonderful too, Burn.
なるほどねそれでせめて最後くらい口直しが欲しかったわけね
I see, so this is why you wanted to straighten things out for yourself at least once at the end.
全部前回のゲームでドジを踏んだこのバカゴマのせいだわ。
It's all the sake of this moron piece screwing up all the time in the last game.
お前のせいで数百年ぶりに楽しめそうなゲーム版が
Because of you, this Game Boy that looked like it'd be fun for the first time in thousands of years.
すべて
It's all
台
been
無しよ。
wasted.
クズ、
Filth.
ゴミ、
Trash.
カス。
Scum. We're learning new words today, aren't we?
もう申し訳ありません。
My
我が
apologies,
主、
Master.
必ず勝利を捧げますから
Bring you a victory. Please
どう
forgive
か
me.
お許しください。前回探偵権限まで使って勝てなかったあんたが
If you couldn't win with the detective's authority in the last game, make you
ど
think
うしてゲームマスターにまで至ったバトラに今回打ち勝てるっての
How do you expect to defeat Battler now that he's Game Master? He's unfamiliar with the rule
探偵
set.
権限があったってあんたに勝ち目なんかないのよ。
You don't have a chance at winning even with the detective's authority.
ならいっそ
Why
いら
bother
ない
with
じゃ
it?
ない。
The lack of probability means you... The lack of knowledge means you might be further in the dark and able to draw to a stalemate easier. As you can say, well, I don't know that they're dead. You can say things like, I didn't know if they were dead, and make arguments based on that, and Battler's forced to throw red text at you to give you evidence, making it easier for you to deny the witch due to your lack of knowledge.
確かにもともと勝てないんじゃ探偵権限はいらないわね。
True. If you can't win anyway, the detective proclamation isn't necessary.
より確実に負けるだけだけど。
The lack will just make your loss all the more certain.
だからこそより最悪な状況であなたが勝ってみせたなら
Therefore, if you manage to win in this even worse situation,
それこそ私にふさわしい奇跡だわ。
that would be a miracle worthy of me.
そこまでして初めて私はあんたを許せる。
If, and only if you can do that, I'll be able to forgive you.
はい、
Yes,
必ずその奇跡をお目にかけてみせます。
I'll show you that miracle.
で、
Like
切るわけねえだろ。
Like hell you can, scum. Get out of here, Erica.
あんたにできるのは最悪のゲームに最悪の罰ゲーム。
All you can do is thoroughly expose your wretched self in a horrible punishment game.
さらに探偵宣言という唯一の武器まで取り上げられて、
With your only
とことん
weapon
まで
taken away
惨
from
め
me.
それでもなお腹を見せながら私にじゃれついてこびてみせて
And through it all, you'll still roll over playfully
私を笑わせることだけよ。ゲロカ
and
ス。
beg to keep me entertained, scum. Nice.
楽しそうだな。
Sounds like you're having fun.
お邪魔だったか？
Am I getting in the way? Gold butterflies gathered in the darkness and took the shape of Battler. Though he just arrived, he seemed to know the mood was dark.
あらバトラー、
Battler,
第一の晩体験させてもらったわ。
I had a look at your first twilight.
なかなかの密室じゃない。
Impressive closed rooms.
あなたきっとベアトより才能あるわ。
I'm sure you're even more talented than Beta.
ベアトが過去に作った密室を焼き直しただけだ。
It's just a rehash of the closed rooms Beato had in the past.
その褒め言葉は、ベアトに対するものとして受け取っておく。
I'll take as a compliment aimed at her.
エリカとの攻防もまずまずだったみたいじゃない？
Seems your fight with Erica wasn't bad either.
連続殺人は順調にいっちゃいそう？
Think your serial murders will move along smoothly?
さあな。
Who knows? Who knows? Well, lucky for us, Battler doesn't know what was happening in the conversation with Berncastel. Otherwise, yeah, he might start simping for her.
俺の役目は、連続殺人を遂行することじゃない。
Serial murders.
その過程で、貴様らに、魔法以外では不可能な密室を提示して、
It's to use that process to show you closed rooms that are impossible without magic.
魔女側として勝利を収め、俺がこのゲームを完全に理解したことを証明することだ。
And thereby achieve victory for the witch side, proving I've fully understood this game.
いや、
There's one more thing.
もう一つあるな。
何？
What?
前回、互角の死闘を演じたエリカとの決着をつけるためさ。
To settle things with Erica after that evenly matched duel we acted out last time.
バトラ
Battler.
ー、互角。
Evenly matched? Berncastel noticeably grimaced. Erica averted her eyes and hung her head timidly.
お前の言い分は分かってる。
I know what you'd like to
あ
say.
んなのは引き分けじゃない。
That wasn't a draw.
勝てて当然だから、あれは負けも同然だと、そう言いたいんだろ？
We should have won easily, so it counts as a loss.
あらやだ。
Hey, hey.
盗み聞きなんて性格悪いわよ。
It's not polite to eavesdrop.
鏡見ろ。
Look at a mirror.
お前らの顔に書いてある。
It's written all over your faces.
嘘！
No way, no way!
どこによ？
Where?
何よそ
What's going
れ！バカには見えないマジックで書いてあるとか言ったら殺すじゃあ殺す！
Wait, she thought it was actually written on her face? Wait, what's going on? If you tell me it's written in ink, only morons can't see. That's super death to you. Like, what? She's like... It's written in ink that morons can't see. I should say that. Oh, I need to use that sometime. I need to use that sometime. It's written all over your face. If someone ever says where, I'm gonna tell them it's written in ink only morons can't see. Lambda Delta pulled a mirror out of thin air, then looked at it and jumped around angrily. She was apparently pretending to be stupid in her own special way.
エリカ、
Erica,
何ですか？
what is it?
前回のお前とドラノールの赤と青の猛攻、見事だったぜ。
That final fierce attack you and Delanor made in the last game was spectacular.
どうも。
Thanks.
今回はドラノールはどうした？
Happy Hanukkah? Is it the start of Hanukkah this week? Oh, it's the week before Christmas. I guess so. Hadn't thought of that. What happened to Delanor this time?
お前一人なのか？
Are you by yourself?
いいえ、
No.
ここに控えております。
I've been waiting here. Delanor had just been standing around in reserve, hiding her presence in the dark shadows.
まあ、赤きたちが使えないドラノールなんて役立たずのただのゲロカス。
When she can't use a red longsword, Delanor's just useless scum.
いても役に立たないので引っ込めてますが。
There's no use having her on, so she's hanging back.
今の私にできるのはエリカ教の推理の初期だけです。
All I can do right now is record Lady Erica's reasoning.
どうしてお前も共に戦わない？
Why not fight with her? Good question, Butler.
なぜあの赤いたちが使えない？
Why can't you use the red longsword?
エリカの推理とお前の太刀、
Erica's reasoning and your longsword?
それらが組み合わさってこそのあの強さだったはず。
They were strong because they worked together. Delanor didn't answer. She just glanced at Burn Castell's expression for an instant. However, that glance was the same as a clear answer to Battler now. And now Battler fully recognized the situation.
お前か。
You.
エリカに探偵宣言をしないように言ったのは。
You're the one who told Erica not to use the detective proclamation?
あら、何のこと？
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
これは俺とエリカの戦いだ。
This fight's between me and Erica.
俺たちは全力で戦う。
We'll fight with all we've got.
だから勝ちも負けも受け入れられる。
And that way, we'll be able to accept it whether we win or lose.
貴様のような黒幕は不要だ。
There's no need for a mastermind behind the scenes. Like you.
黒幕なんてひどいわね。
Come now, I'm no mastermind.
私はただの退屈しのぎの感激者じゃない。
Oh, she's just a theater goer trying to relieve her boredom. Of course, of course.
感激者ってのは客席で静かに見てるやつのことだ。
A theater goer is one who sits quietly in the stands and watches.
お前のように舞台にヤジを飛ばし出演者を脅迫したり操ったりするようなやつのことを言わない。
That's not what we call someone who jeers at the stage and threatens or manipulates the performers. Oh, that's not what you're supposed to do at the theater? Dang, I've been going to the theater all wrong.
マナーのない客で申し訳ないわね。
Sorry for being an ill-mannered
あ
audience.
んたは知らないだろうけど、私はこの芝居を見るためにすでに高い入館料を払ってるのよ。
Might not know it, but I paid a huge admission fee to watch this play.
悪いけど、それに見合う分、勝手に楽しませてもらうわ。
Sorry, but I intend to enjoy it until I get my money's worth.
進行を邪魔するならゲームマスター権限でお前をこのゲーム上から追放することもできるんだぜ。
If you get in the way of the game's progression, I'll use my authority as Game Master to boot you out of this game.
したければどうぞ。
If you want to, go ahead.
私を追放するなら、エリカは私の駒だから持って帰るわ。
Ah, Hanukkah starts on a different start date every year, as the holiday schedule is on a lunar calendar, with an extra month added once in a while to avoid annual drift. I see, I see. Alright, well, if you chase me out, I'll head back with my piece, Erica.
今回のゲームはお流れで、 あんたは真相に至ったことを証明できなくなる。
This game will be canceled. You won't be able to prove you've reached the
観
truth.
劇者は観測者。
A theater goer is an observer.
観測者なき真実は幻想と同じ。
And a truth with no observer is the same as an illusion.
あんたはベアとのゲームを終えるために観劇者という立ち会い人を欠かせないのよ。
You need a theater goer as a witness until Beato's game ends.
俺たちの真実は俺たちだけで通用すればいい。
Our truth only needs to pass between the two of us.
これ以上邪魔をするなら有無を言わさず追放する。
If you interfere anymore, I'll boot you up by
そ
force.
して次の暇つぶしが見つかるまで何百年も退屈にのたうち回るといいぜ。
And then you can writhe around in boredom for a few centuries until you can find another way to kill time.
じゃあそうすれば。
Go ahead and do
エリ
that.
カ、ゲームはおしまいよ。ご苦労様。
Erica, the game's over. Good
あん
work.
たはつくづく使えない駒だったわ。
You were completely useless.
敗北の汚名を返上できなかったんだから。あんたは約束通り最悪のかけらにぶち込んで。
You weren't able to overturn the dishonor of your loss, so as promised, I'll throw you into the worst
忘
fragment.
却の深淵に空っぽのポップコーンのバケツと一緒に放り込んであげる。
I'll toss you into the depths of oblivion with the empty popcorn buckets. Really, the worst reality?
我が主、必ず勝利しますから。勝利できますですから、どうか最後までバトラと戦わせてください。
Please let me fight Battler until the end.
このまま負けで忘却の深淵なんて
I don't want to lose get thrown into the depths of oblivion.
私は最後まであんたの戦いを見てあげたいけれど。
You know I want to watch until the end, right?
バトラが追放だって言うし。
But Battler says he'll toss me
ね
out.
え、どうするラムダ。
What do you do, Lambda?
まあまあベルも前回のゲームからずっとイラついてるのはわかるけど、ちょっと落ち着きなさいよ。
Erica's begging Mom for 5 more minutes. The classic. Well, I realize you've been irritated since last game, Burn, but calm
バ
down
ト
a bit.
ラもあんまりベルを煽らないで。
Battler, don't provoke Burn so
この
much.
子たまに自分でも感情がコントロールできなくなるのよ。
This kid can't control her emotions sometimes. Coming from Lambda, that's a very strange statement, but okay. You know what? I'm not going to disagree with her. I'm not even going to argue it. Not because she's wrong. I'm just like, you know what? All right.
うるさいわね。
Shut up.
誰が感情をコントロールできないのよ。
Who can't control her emotions? Burn Castell, who'd never shown any expressions at all at one point in time, was now twisting her face in all kinds of displeased and ugly shapes. When Lambda made fun of that, Burn clicked her tongue and looked away. As they say, nothing stops poison but poison. Apparently, Lambda's the only one who could rein Burn Castell in.
エリカはバトラと戦って汚名を返上してベルンのご機嫌が取りたいんでしょ。
Erica, you want to fight Battler, clear your name, and get Burn back into a good mood, right?
はい。
Yes.
バトラは真実に至ったことを証明する最後のゲームを
Battler, you want to quickly and neatly end this final game?
きっちり綺麗に終えたいわけでしょ。
You can prove you found the truth, right?
そうだ。
Yes.
これは俺とエリカの一騎打ちだ。
The face-off between me and Erica.
俺の邪魔だけじゃない。
I won't let anyone get in my
エリ
way.
カに対する邪魔も俺は許さない。
I won't let anyone get in Erica's way either. Lambda Delta actually solving problems for once, surprising me.
バトラ
Battler.
二人に戦う意志があるならそれを尊重するべきだわ。
If both of them wish to fight, that should be
ベ
respected.
ルンは私に任せて。
They burned to me.
不機嫌になったあの子をなだめられるのは世界で私だけだから。
I'm the only one in the world who can calm that kid when she gets in a bad mood.
お前もあいつの同類ではあるが、まだ話が通じるな。
You're the same sort as her, but at least you can be reasoned with.
あんまり私をなめないで。
You shouldn't underestimate me.
私はベルンの歪む顔が好きなの。
I just like seeing Burn grimace.
それを見せてくれるあんたのゲームを気に入ってるだけ。
That's why I've taken a liking to this game of yours.
扱いやすい相手なんて思ってると大やけどじゃ済まないわよ。
If you think I'm easy to handle, you're apt to get burned, alright? Get it? Burn Castell? Burned? Haha, it's bad.
ドラノールが赤木たちを使えないのは探偵宣言がないからよ。
Eleanor can't use her red longsword because the detective proclamation hasn't been made.
エリカがそれを出せばすぐにもあの力を取り戻すわね。
If Erica makes it, she'll regain her power right away, right?
はい、
Yeah.
その時はご容赦を。
When that happens, forgive me.
エリカ、
Erica.
なんです。
What?
探偵宣言を出せ。
Make the detective proclamation.
嫌です。
No.
今の俺に探偵権限なしで本気で勝てると
You
思っ
think
て
you
る
can
のか。
beat me as I am now without the detective's authority? Or even all the hints?
勝てますとも。
I can win.
バトラ卿、
Lord Battler.
エリカ卿もまた駒です。
Lady Erica is herself a piece.
主の命には背けません。
She cannot disobey her master's orders.
できるのは許された力を全うし、視力を尽くすだけです。
All she can do is gather the power she has and fight for survival.
ドラノールの力は探偵宣言がないと全くダメなのか。
And Delanor, your power can't be used at all without the detective proclamation?
石剣は抜刀に許可が必要です。
I need permission before unsheathing the red key.
その申請条件の一つが探
One
偵
form of that
宣
permission
言です。
is the detective proclamation.
探偵宣言以外に
Are there other
そ
ways
の
of
許
getting
可を得
permission?
る方法はないのか。
Someone else nominating a detective?
あんた、
What are you saying?
何を言ってるんですか。私に情けをかけるつもりなら大きなお世話です。
Why not just have someone else say, Eric is a third party, let's have her investigate? Battler can probably write the rules for that to happen, right? Or rewrite the plot for that to happen? If Battler wants to be cooperative, he can do that. He's the game master, he can make them agree to go along with her plans. As the chief investigator. What do you say? If you do this out of pity for me, it's none of your business.
黙れ。お前一人じゃ手応えがなさすぎて退屈なんだよ。
You're so flimsy by yourself that it's boring.
探偵でない探偵は黙ってろ。
Be quiet, detective who isn't a detective.
石剣は赤き真実と限りなく近い存在で
The
す。
red key is infinitely similar to the red truth.
真実が与えられれば、その件についてのみ抜刀が許されます。
If and only if I am given a truth, I'm permitted to draw my sword for items that pertain to it.
真実とは
What do you mean by a truth? Truth can take many forms.
例えばですが、エリカ卿のガムテープの封印です。
For example, there are Lady Erica's packing tape seals.
あ
Ah,
Oh, they
those.
あの封印
Oh,
は
that's what
す
they
で
look
に
like.
ベルンカステル卿によって赤き真実と同等の価値があると認められています。
Lady Berncastel has already acknowledged those seals are equivalent in value to the red truth.
よって封印に関わる真実に限っては石剣の抜刀が許されます。
Therefore, I'm permitted to draw the red key, at least for the truth pertaining to those seals.
前回散々苦しめられたからな。
Those caused me a lot of trouble last
今
time.
回は粘着力のあるガムテープをゲーム版からすべて取り除
I
か
had
せた
all
んだ
the sticky tape removed from the Game Boy this time around.
見事な一手です。
Splendid move.
エリカは探偵と名乗ることに誇りを持ってたな。
Erica was real proud to be able to call herself the detective, wasn't she? I mean, if you have absolute knowledge of everyone's comings and goings via simple traps, that's pretty handy for a detective.
はい。謎を無責任に暴くだけが目的とはいえ、彼女には誇りです。
Though her only goal was to irresponsibly solve riddles, it was a matter of pride for her.
それが宣言できないってのは
She must be
Kanari.
really suffering since she can't make that
悔しい
proclamation.
ことだろうな。
Yeah, but who cares if Erica's suffering?
それを
Battler
当
does,
人以
but
外
you
の
know,
語る
why?
ことはできません。
Only she could tell you that. Battler took a deep breath, then hung his head and thought for a time. Erica was his enemy. But she is the player on the human side, and without her, there's no game. It had been the same with the old Beato. Battler one-sidedly viewed Beato as an enemy. However, though Beato thought of him as her opponent, she hadn't considered him an enemy on a personal level. In accordance with the rules, I must fight my rival ruthlessly. However, it doesn't mean I need to hate Erika herself. I won't misunderstand Beato's game.
エリカ、
Erika,
探偵宣言を出さないのはお前の勝手だ。
you're free to choose not to make a detective proclamation.
だから、お前はお前の人間としての力だけで。
Yeah, didn't see him as an enemy, but killed your whole family because of some sin that didn't even happen to you. Yeah, very strange. She's not your she doesn't think of you as an enemy. She just wanted to kill your whole family, and including you. We're not enemies. This is just, it's not personal. It's just business, right? So, if you don't make a detective proclamation, go ahead and fight with your power as a human.
最初からその覚悟です。
I'm prepared to do that from the start.
しかし、お前には優秀な仲間がいる。
However, you have talented allies.
ドラノールに、ガートルード、
Gertrude,
コーネリ
Cornelia.
ア。お前は一人じゃない。
You aren't alone.
仲間がいる。
You have allies.
頼りたくても何の力もないゲロカスの役立たずですが。
They're unreliable, powerless, and useless scum.
ドラノール、
Eleanor.
かつての俺が、ワルギリアやロノウェに支えられたように、エリカにもまた支えがいる。
Just like how I was supported by Virgilia and Ronove in the past, Erika needs support as well.
人間側が辛いことは、俺も何度も経験してよく知ってる。
I know from repeated experience that playing the human side is tough.
はい、
Yes,
持てる力の限りで補佐します。
I will assist her with all the power I possess.
金系了解するものなり。
Understood.
近景、職務であると知りたまえ。
No, that is our job.
赤き真実も使えないくせに。
You can't even use the red truth.
エリカ、
Erika,
お前でなく、この仲間たちに力を与える。
I'll give power not to you but to your allies.
はあ、
Huh?
何の真似ですか。
What do you think you're
お
doing?
前の情けなんて死んでも受けません。
I'd rather die than receive your pity.
ドラノール、ガートルード、コーネリアで3人。
Three people, Delana, Gertrude, Cornelia,
エリカ、
Erika.
お前に例のガムテープの封印を3部屋分許す。
Erika, I'll let you use 3 rooms worth of those packing tape seals. To fully seal one room, multiple seals would be needed to cover all the doors and windows. If he said 3 seals, it would have only been possible to fully seal one room at best. So Battler was generous and limited them by room instead of by seal. Excluding Erika. There's what, 9 people? There's 9 people. Okay. However, it's been confirmed that, it's already been confirmed for us that Kraus, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda are not guilty. So there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what, 6 people? There's 6 people to prove. There's 6 people left to investigate, and she has 3 rooms worth of seals, effectively bringing her to a nice even 50-50 on figuring shit out. You feel me? If she thinks someone's going to be killed, like they all taking a rest and someone runs away, she can steal 3 rooms. The room that person's in while they're AFKing. Or off by themselves about to get murdered. And then she knows the solution. If they get murdered. She has 3 attempts at that, right? That's not too bad. If she gets them all, that's a 50-50. With 6 people left alive. And she can further narrow it down with her own rationale, right?
バトラ教
Like battler.
この封印には赤き真実と同じ効果があることを俺もゲームマスターとして認める。
As game master, I also acknowledge these seals have the same effect as the red
そう
truth.
すればそれを根拠とする戦いではお前もあの赤いタッチを振り回せるようになるはずだ。
This way, you'll also be able to wield that red longsword in a fight surrounding
そう
those.
だな。
Right?
はい
Yes.
しかしよろしいのです
Are you
か
certain?
探偵未満のエリカに勝ってもこんなの勝利じゃね
Winning against Erica when she's less than a detective is hardly a
え。エリカ
victory.
がレートを上げるなら俺にだって上げる権利があるはずだぜ。
Erica ups the stakes, I should have the right to do the same.
おっとくまえ
What a man!
よかったじゃないエリカ
Aren't you lucky,
これで
Erica?
探偵宣言を出して主の機嫌を損ねずに多少はあんたも赤が使えるようになったわ
And now you can use a bit of red without making the detective proclamation and irritating your master.
後悔しますよ。
You'll
こ
regret
の
this.
3回の封印が
I'll use
き
the
っ
three
と
red
あな
seals.
たを殺しますから。
I'll use the 3 seals and kill you no matter what.
上等だ。
Perfect.
来いよ。
Come to kill me.
殺しに。
Though it was only for 3 rooms, it was a red truth that Erica had desperately wanted, and now she finally had enough leeway to fight as she pleased. She ground her teeth at being pitied by Battler, but her tears were not those of shame.
了解です
Understood.
3部屋分の封印のガムテープを受領いたします
3 rooms worth of packing tape seals
そ
accepted.
の受領ですがエリカ卿がミセス熊沢から粘着力なきガムテープを受領した時点に遡っての受領でよろしいですか
Consider them as being accepted retroactively back when Lady Erica received the non-sticky packing tape from Miss Kumasawa? Erica had borrowed packing tape from Kumasawa to make seals with. However, Battler made it so they weren't sticky. If he ruled there had never been any problem with the stickiness, the transition could be made smoothly.
ああ、いいだろ
Sure,
う。
that's
物
fine.
語を書き直す。
I'll write the tale.
初
Rewrite
日の
the
深
tale.
夜にエリカが熊沢さんからもらったガムテープは封印可能な粘着力を持っていたが
The packing tape Erica received from Kumasawa-san late at night on the first day was
3部
sticky,
屋分しかない。残りわずかのものだ。
but there was only enough to use on
これ
3
を
rooms.
今から適用する
I'll。apply that from here on out.
了解しました
Understood.
エリカ卿も遡り第一の晩発覚以前の段階からその権利の行使が可能だったものとして行動の修正を行います
Lady Erica will retroactively adjust her movements starting before the discovery of the first twilight, and taking into account that the application of this privilege is now possible.
ゲーム進行に抵触する部分が発生し次第ゲームマスターにご報告申し上げます
As soon as these changes affect the progression of the game, they will be reported to the Game Master.
事件がどの部屋で起こったかを知ってからの遡りか。
Letting you do it retroactively even when you know which rooms the crime will
かな
occur in?
り有利な話だな。
That's quite the
無
advantage.
駄な部屋を封印しなくて済むんだから。
You won't have to waste tape on the wrong rooms.
ゲームマスターになったら随分とおごるようになったのね。
Seems you've grown quite arrogant since becoming Game Master.
楽しいでしょ
Isn't
無
it
様
fun?
な対戦相手に施しをするのは。
Give out charity to your pathetic opponents.
黙れ。
Quiet.
そして勘違いするな。
Don't misunderstand. I don't know why he's giving her the gum tape, or, like her traps, after knowing where people move.
これはおごりでも甘やかしでもない。
Don't misunderstand. I'm not being arrogant or soft here.
エリカ、これを武器に本気で来い。
Erica, use this weapon and come out with all you've
だから
got.
こそ俺も本気で叩き潰
Then I'll
して。
crush you with all
だ
I've
から
got.
胸を張ってこの3回を行使しろ。
Hold your head up high and use those
以上
3.
だ。
That's all. Battler made to leave the room with a flick of his cape, and as he did, he thought he heard Erica let out a strained voice calling him to stop.
うん なんだ
What?
用がないなら行く。
If you have no business with me, I'm
ドラ
going.
ノールとよく相談しろ。
Make sure you talk with
あのム
Delanor.
カつく魔女どもには何を言われても耳を貸すな。
And don't listen to those obnoxious witches, whatever they
こ
tell
の
you.
ゲーム版の上にいる限り、あいつらに好き勝手はさ
As
せ
long
ない
as。I'm on this game board, I won't let them do what they please. Whatever they please.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
ありがと
Thank
う。
you.
私、本気で戦います。
I'll fight with all I've got. Yeah, retroactively allowing her to seal 3 rooms to check at all entrances and exits when she knows where the murders will happen is kind of big. That said, I don't know how much that will help. That'll only help her for alternative entrances and exits, right? Like, you'd have to be a bit of a dumbass to think the door seal won't be broken, right? Like, I set my gum tape before, or I set my, it's a duct tape, right? Gum tape is usually the translation for duct tape in Japanese. So it's like a duct tape trap. So she's using like perforated duct tape because it leaves like a trace when it's torn off, so you can't cleanly tear it off. They describe it as packing tape because duct tape is brand name, I think. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so her tape traps. The door one will probably be broken anyway, because like, think of it this way, like, Natsuhi is going to go into her bedroom at some point, breaking the duct tape seal. Right? At some point, Natsuhi's going to go in, so knowing that Natsuhi opened the door isn't hugely relevant. If Furuto Erika is allowed to say the murder happened at exactly X minutes, X time, like between 12 and 12:15, if Erika's just stalking around the mansion and the second she goes into the room she's being murdered in, seals all the entrances and exits to see what happens, that's going to be kind of lame. We'll see. Unless Battler has some trick to getting them out. I guess we'll find out. Like, knowing the room, maybe the alternative entrance will be revealed, right? Like, maybe the alternative entrance gets revealed, that would be okay, but if she just seals the door after she goes in, knowing exactly when and where the murders take place, it's going to be a little lame. Alright, you'll fight with all you've got, Erika?
全力で戦いますから。だから、
I'll come at you with all my strength,
絶
so
対お前をやっつけますから。
I'll defeat you no matter what. It'd be fine if he just gave her the traps afterwards, but it's gonna be kind of lame if she just seals one of the rooms as the person goes into it to get murdered. Maybe she'll duct up people's mouths so they can't argue back. The murders happen in closed rooms. How can them being extra closed help? Because people don't spontaneously die. There's a way that they're killed, and knowing how the closed room is constructed is relevant to opening up the closed room, right? Because the rules are he's trying to prove that it's magic, but there's the hidden implication of the game that everything he does has to be physically possible. So if you want to prove that, like, whether or not someone used the door or something, even you can determine that by checking these traps. So she can check all the entrances and exits and see how, if someone was in the room, they got out. And then knowing that none of the seals were broken, when someone goes into the room, dies, and then Battler says there's nobody left in the room, tells you something else. It tells you maybe they were killed from outside the room. Like knowledge of the time and possibility of people entering and exiting the room gives you information about the murder. So if she seals every entrance and exit to the room, and after Natsuhi goes into her bedroom, and Natsuhi dies, she comes to the conclusion that she was killed from outside the room. Which is possible. She's shot in the head via sniper from the window. Right. It would be useful if the magic was the victims entering the room in the first place, without opening the door. But if not, they couldn't do anything because the door would have to open anyway. Yeah, that's why I said she already knows. She knows the time or she knows the approximate time of death and where everyone dies. So she can just go around to she can just go up to one of those rooms in the 5 minutes before they die. Because she's like, she got her traps at like midnight. People were dying at like before quarter past. So she can just rush out and go to one of the rooms where people died and seal it. See what happens. See what happens. That's probably what she could do. Because she's getting them retroactively at like 11 or midnight or something like that. I forget when she actually got that, but it was late at night. It was like between 10 and 12. And the murders happened later. So she's retroactively getting them and able to take actions. As Delanor said, she's able to take actions now starting from 11 o'clock with the knowledge that there's going to be dead people in the room at around 12:15. So knowing that, you can make new actions based on time and location of death to try and acquire new information.
だから
So if you do one
押し
against me,
叩き潰してください。
please crush me with all your strength.
お願いだから
Please
塵
don't leave
一つ
a scrap behind.
残さないで。
See what happens is the risky use of thorium duct tape. It can work out well. What do you mean it's risky? The first thing you should try to figure out is how the closed rooms are constructed, so you can come up with a answer to them if you're stumped. The other choice is to try and catch someone creating the closed room in the future. And I mean, you can just do that on one of the rooms you know is going to be a closed room. So, like, what would you want to use it for? You could attempt to catch someone lying about where they are, or where they're going. Like, your main uses are catching someone going somewhere they're not supposed to be. Or you're supposed to, like, find out, like, who's getting murdered. Like, there's only so many uses for the room trap. I think using it once to see... to give you more information on how someone's dying is a pretty useful trick. Then you have two more uses. Then you have two more uses to just like check if like a room is being used or something. Don't leave a scrap behind. It really wants to be crushed, alright.
わかった。
Understood.
だからお前も俺に
And
手加
don't
減
you
する
go
な。
easy on me.
これは最後のゲームなんだ。
This is the final game. Looks at the chapter count. Alright,
俺
Battler.
がベアトに真実に至ったことを証明するための
I'm playing to prove to Beato that I've reached the
俺たち
truth.
の勝敗はもはやそれを左右しない。
By now, who wins and who loses doesn't affect the
だ
goal.
からこれは純粋に公敵視と認めたお前と決着をつけた
So
い
I
とい
just want
う
to
気持
accept
ち
you
なん
as a
だ。
rival and settle this.
ゲームの上では敵として全てを疑え。
Battler's accepting her as a rival. Doesn't he want to fuck his rivals? Battler. Battler. He looks a little young. I just want to accept his rival and settle this. In the game, let's suspect each other over and over as enemies.
だが
As
プレイ
fellow
ヤー
players,
同士としては信頼しろ。
let's trust each other.
それがゲームのマナーだ。
That's how this game is supposed to be played.
はい
Yes.
ありがとう
Thank
ありがとう
Thank you. Battler melted into the darkness, becoming a cloud of gold butterflies, and vanished. Erica remained behind, sobbing. Berncastel's gonna come back and just start laughing at seeing Erica crying, even though this time it's joy.
な
Just
あーってね
kidding. Told you they were tears of joy.
ちょろいもんですバカな男
Gee, you're a stupid, dim
まん
man.
まと引っかかって私にガムテープを渡しましたね
Totally fell for it and gave me the tape.
このフルダエリカに
I, Furudo Erica.
ガムテープを
Packing tape! The best Erica sprites. Your favorite Erica sprites are the sprites where she has packing tape? Alright. It was hard to imagine that the person who'd been sobbing pathetically and this person were now the same. That's how vile her face contorted to be. The two witches were also cackling with ugly smiles.
わかるわ。
I totally
ゲ
understand.
ームマスターになるとね、つい神になった気がしておごり高ぶっちゃうのよね。
Naruto, Erica have duct tape is one of the best lines of the story. Yeah. After your twin towers won't help you now. It is a pretty good line. When you become Game Master, it feels like you become God and you get all sure of yourself. I'm still surprised they're saying packing tape.
ラムダの時もそうだったわね。
It was the same for you, Lambda.
歩く死体なんてバカなミスを放置するから負けるのよ。
Of course you'd lose after leaving a stupid mistake like walking corpses alone.
バカなゲームマスター、バカなミス、バカなおごりにバカな敗北、バカバトラ、バカバカ。
Baka 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 baka, what? Alright, stupid game masters, stupid mistakes, stupid pride, stupid losses, stupid battler, stupid everything. Of course you'd lose after making a stupid mistake. Leaving a stupid mistake like walking corpses alone.
バカな敗北、バカバトラ、バカバカ。
Stupid losses, stupid battlers, stupid everything. Baka, you want Baka boy. Has a nice ring
心
to
がい
it.
いです。
Packing tape, the most powerful weapon in existence, granted to them freely. Oh, it has such a nice
さ
ring
す
to
が
it.
我が主です。
Nice one, master.
バカバトラ、バカバッカ、バカバトラ、バカバッカ。
Stupid battler, stupid everything, stupid battler, stupid everything.
バカバトラのやつ、本気でエリカが不利だと思ってるなら本当にご愁傷様だわ。
That stupid battler really thinks Erica's at a disadvantage. I really pity
バ
him.
カを殺すのに必要なのは探偵宣言じゃない。
A detective proclamation isn't what you need to kill a moron.
豆腐の角、
Death by falling on a piece of tofu?
絹ごしですね。
It'd have to be a soft tofu too.
それにコチュジャンを乗せればワインのつまみにぴったりだわ。
Add some gochujang chili paste and you've got a snack that'd go great with some wine. The body or the tofu? Ern Castell? I'm seriously concerned. The three giggled together. It had all been an act to get the packing tape for the seals from Battler. Even though the packing tape that had tormented him so much in the last game was unusable in this one, he had fallen for Erica's act and she had gotten what she wanted, though just 3 rooms worth. The illusion that Erica had an overwhelming disadvantage was just an act, a trap to trick Battler and make him hand over the packing tape. Of course, you can just cry about not having
これで完璧に
anything.
バトラを殺せま
Battler's
せ。
pretty sympathetic. He'll give you whatever you want. With this, I can kill Battler
あ
perfectly.
いつの間抜けな密室など、とっくにネタは割れてるんですから。
I figured out those pathetic closed rooms long
完
ago.
璧な密室？
A perfect
バ
closed room.
カ！私が本当に完璧な密室ってやつを見せて差し上げますか
I'll show
ら。
you a real perfect closed room.
そのためのとどめの武器を自ら進呈してくれるなんて
I could
嬉
almost
し
cry
く
for
て
a dream.
涙が出ます。
At the back, you gave me the weapon that'll
バ
finish
カ
you.
主、そしてラムダデルタ卿、
My master, Lady Lambda Delta.
お芝居へのご協力、誠にありがとうございます。
Thank you so much for going along with this act.
面白かったわ。
Oh, it was fun.
例には及ばないわよ。
No need to thank me.
演技じゃないしね。
It wasn't an act. Vern Castell said something was probably disturbing. That was probably disturbing, but in her good mood, Erica didn't care a bit. That pudding for brains moron thinking he'd done something so noble. I'll make you regret it.
さあ、
Alright, alright.
この封印、ゆっくりと使わせてもらいましょう。
Let's use these seals at our
ドラ
leisure.
ノールもお手柄でした。
You did great too,
あ
Delaney.
んた、バトラに信頼されてるみたいだから、あんたが言うとコロッと引っかかってくれますね。
Seems Battler trusts you, so we believed every word you said.
まさか両親が痛むとか言い出しませんよね。
Don't tell me your conscience is
殺
hurting.
人人形の分際で。
Little murder doll?
いいえ、
No. Glenar looked at Erica in a slightly lonely way. Then after shaking her head slightly, her gaze turned hard and she looked at the darkness Battler had disappeared into.
手加減なしの真剣勝負と分かっているはずなの。
You should have known this was a no-holds
愚
barred
か
fight.
なりバトラ卿。
How foolish, Lord Battler.
これは間違いなくあなたのおごりです。
This is without a doubt the result of your pride.
ミスター・バトラー。これは命取りです。
Mr. Battler, this will be fate. Battler throwing, or deciding not to continue, or giving up, or any number of things is not a new
まずは
concept.
おめでとうかな。ふるふる。
Battler has thrown so hard, or just decided not to pursue a potential answer so many times. I'm not really surprised that he's throwing as Game Master when he's supposed to be actually winning. So far, so good for.
そうね。すべての恋人たちに強い意志の力があることが分かったのだもの。
All of the lovers clearly possess a strong will.
これは愛の勝利さ。
It's a victory for love.
それを僕らは称え合おう。
That we shall extol. Everyone had gotten used to these two over-dramatic demons. George spoke quietly with an annoyed expression.
僕らがそれを称え合うのは君たちの試練を勝ち残り
We'll only
誰か
extol
が魔
that
法の奇跡を授かる時だけ
after we've passed your trial and someone's been given the miracle of magic.
同感だぜ。
I agree.
最初の試練は全員突破した。
We all passed the first trial.
次は何だ。
What's next?
もう後には引けねえ。何だってやってやるぜ。
I wouldn't hold back anymore. I'll do whatever it takes.
はい。僕たちは
Yes, we won't lose.
私たちもです。
We won't lose either.
ああ、
Yep.
もちろんバトラ君たちもだね。
The same goes for Battler Kun's group.
無論だぜ。
Of course.
この中の誰だって譲られて勝利したいなんて甘えてるやつはいないはずだ。
I doubt anyone here is so naive they hope to win by having the others forfeit.
そうですね。辞退できる程度の弱々しい思いならば、今この場にいる資格はありません。
Drop out would have no right to be here right now. Even Beato, who seemed to be the shakiest one of the six, was strongly determined. The two demons nodded at each other, taking note of the six's continued resolve.
それで次の試練は何だい？
So, what's the next
まさ
trial?
かまだ決まってないなんて言うんじゃないだろうね。
Don't tell me you still haven't decided.
少しは脱落者が出ると思ってたからね。
Well, we thought at least some of you would drop out.
まさか全員が残るとは思わなかったの。
I didn't think you'd all remain.
これは愛ゆえの嬉しい奇跡の誤算。
Happy miraculous miscalculation due to love.
うぜえぜ。
Shut up.
それで
So,
今度こそ脱落者を出すために椅子取りゲームでも始めようってのか。
are we gonna play musical chairs or something to make sure someone drops out?
そう、まさにそのこと。
Yes, precisely that.
今度の試練では確実に一組にリタイアしてもらうことにしたよ。
We decide to have this trial eliminate one group no matter what.
今度の試練は碑文の第二の番にあやかり。
This trial is the second twilight of the epitaph.
寄り添いし二人を引き裂け。
Tear apart the two who are close.
意味がわからない。
I don't get it.
ゼパル様、フルフル様、どういう試練ですか？
Zapar-sama, Furfur-sama, which sort of trial is
ま
this?
さか私たちに殺
You
し
mean
合い
we're
を
gonna
し
kill
ろ
each
と。
other?
そりゃ手っ取り早いぜ。
Well, that'd settle things quickly.
少々文明的ではないけどね。
Though it's not exactly civilized.
恋は肉食だぜ。
Love is for carnivores.
みんながみんな一緒に幸せになること
I
は
guess we can't all just find
でき
happiness
ないの
together,
です
can
ね
we?。
そういうのをゼロサムゲームって言うんだよ。
This is what they call a zero-sum game.
経済用語だけどね。知ってるかい？
An economic word, perhaps you've heard of it. I think people know what zero-sum games are.
あ、いえ。
Oh,
すみま
here's the
せん。
explanation. A time for murder? Oh boy.
ゼロサム
Apologies,
ゲ
but
ーム
here's the explanation you got.
勝利も
Zero
敗
sum
北
game.
も全てを相殺すればゼロになる。
It's where victory and all losses cancel out to end up with zero.
誰かが勝利を得るためには、誰かに敗北を強いね
In
ばな
order
ら
for
ない。
someone to win, someone else must lose.
それが世界の冷酷な原理
It's
だ。
the ruthless way of the world.
みんながみんな
If only
全
everyone
員が
could be
幸せ
happy.
になれればいいのにな。そんな理想の世界あるわけねえ
There's
か。
no way an ideal world like that could exist.
ううんあるよ。
There is.
それは黄金鏡。
The Golden Land. Time for an ad for the Golden Land. The Golden Land?
何の話だよ。
What are you talking about?
そうだったな。
That's
黄
right.
金鏡に至れば、すべての愛は満たされる。
If you reach the Golden Land, all love will be satisfied.
だが、そこは天国や地獄と同じで、この世ならざる場所だ。
Not like heaven and hell, that's not a place in this world.
それはごめん被りたいね。
Well, I wouldn't want that.
恋は現世で叶えるから意味がある。
Love has its meaning because we find it in this
僕は
world.
死後に恋愛を成就させるための悲しい心中なんて断じて認めないね。
I could never support a sad lover's double suicide where they're only united after
生き
death.
て愛を貫く。
I'll stick to my love in life, thank you.
何者にも負けない。
I won't lose to anyone.
ジョージ
This
さん。
trial has been sponsored by the Golden Land. Kill yourself now and receive your free ticket for a week's trial in the Golden Land. The door to the Golden Land can be opened by solving the epitaph's riddle. In that place, love and lives are all whole and can be revived, but... But?
話が脱線してる。
We're straying from the point.
それより第二の試練をさっさと教えてほしい。
Let's hear about the second trial now.
そうだぜ。
Right, right.
寄り添いし二人を引き裂けって何をさせる気だよ。
What are you trying to make us do with this tear apart the two who are close thing?
話はとてもシンプルさ。
It's quite simple.
恋人たちを引き裂くのは悲しき死の別れしかありえない。
The only possible way to tear apart two lovers is by the sad farewell of death.
6人のうち1人を殺すのが第2の試練さ。
The second trial involves killing one of the six.
当然相方を殺された恋人たちは失格となって脱落するわ。
Of course. Oh, any lover with their partner killed is disqualified.
つまり確実に一組の恋人たちに脱落してもらう試練というわけさ。
In short, one group of lovers must fail during this trial.
殺すと簡単に言うが、
You say killed so easily.
どうしろってんだ。
What exactly are we supposed to do?
殺し合いをしてもいいし、
You can just fight to the death.
くじ引きか何かで決めてもいい。
We can decide by lottery of some sort.
くじ引きで決めるなんて冗談じゃねえぜ。
Like hell, we choose by drawing lots.
正々堂々と決闘しようじゃねえ
Let's
か。
have a fair and square duel.
そうなるとゲームマスターのバトラ君と
Though if we do that, I imagine that Battler Kun and the Game Master and Beatrice, the Golden Witch, even though her memory is
記
gone,
憶がないとはいえ
will have a
黄金の魔
substantial
女ベア
advantage.
トリーチェが相当
Everyone
有利な気
here
もするんだよ
is,
ね。
yeah, everyone here is clearly lacking in magic resistance. So Beatrice gets a massive boost to her power and can just kill everyone by summoning stakes. Yeah, that's pretty bad. And Battler's Game Master, so he can just rule that he's not dead.
あ、
Oh, wait.
どうでしょう。
安心して。
Oh, don't worry.
この試練ではみんなの力は完全に公平にさせてもらってるんだ。
For this trial, we've made everyone's powers equal. Battler's going to get himself killed in his own game? Right.
ゲームマスターのバトラ卿でさえこの試練では全員と互角なの。
Even the Game Master, Lord Battler, is taking this trial on an even footing with everyone else.
それなら
In
公
that
平で
case,
すね。
it's fair?
完全に純粋に互角なのかい？
Is it completely and purely on an even footing?
ええ、完全に互角。
Yes, it's perfectly even.
1対
Alright
1なら勝敗は時の運。
In a one-on-one matchup, victory would be decided by luck.
完全に互角だからね。
It's perfectly even.
決着にも時間がかかると思うわ。
It'll probably take some time before it's settled.
だから優位な状況で襲うのがコツかな。
What's the trick to attack when you're in a superior position, I wonder?
とことん時間をかけての決闘ももちろん素敵。
Duels that take time are of course wonderful.
誰が運任せで戦うもんか。
Why would anyone leave it up to luck?
自分に有利な状況で戦いたいに決まってるぜ。
Of course, we want to fight in a situation to our advantage.
となると三つどもえ。
In that case, a
こ
three-way
れで
struggle.
は動けないのでは。
Wouldn't that mean we're stuck? Still. Beato is first to notice. If the six were truly on an even footing and both willing and capable of winning, one pair would have to concentrate their attacks on a single person. If that happened, the pair containing that target would band together and resist. In other words, it would never be 2 against 1. It'd be 2 against 2 and a matter of luck. However, at any time, any third pair who was watching this could team up with whatever pair they liked with no risk to themselves, defeating the opposing pair with certainty.
面倒な話だね。
Sounds troublesome.
先に動くことが有利ではないというわけか。
Means the first move is disadvantageous. If you step forward and fight, it's a matter of luck. If you sit and wait for the others to start fighting, it's certain victory. I mean, it depends what kind of game you're playing. Depends what kind of game you're playing. If you're playing the kind of game where lethality is very high, striking first is still advantageous, because you can strike first before the second person can help out. A fight would never begin in this situation.
6人全員がそれぞれ隣同士と1対1で同時に戦えばいいんじゃないでしょうか。
Maybe we could have everyone fight the person next to them one-on-one.
誰かの決着がついた時点で試練は決着する。
As soon as one fight is settled, the trial is over. Unless everyone could abandon any naive hopes for a 2-on-1 fight, this trial would never begin and never end. In that case, if they made a gentleman's agreement and had everyone duel at once, it'd be no different from drawing lots, but it would at least be even.
それは無理。
Don't worry.
そうなったらみんな積極的に戦わず保身する。
If we do that, everyone will defend instead of fighting proactively.
その間に誰かが負けてくれればいいのだから。
All they need to do is wait for someone to lose before they do. Shannon's point was a sound one. If both fighters glare at each other without attacking, neither will lose. All they have to do is wait for someone other than themselves to lose first, and this brings them back to the starting point. No one would fight proactively.
結局全員が動かず決着がつきま
In the
せん。
end, no one will move, and nothing will be resolved.
全員の強さが互角という算数的状況のせいで
Since
パズ
there's
ルみ
this
たいになっちまったな。
arithmetical situation where we all have the same strength, it's almost like a puzzle.
そうだね。
True, true.
互いの強さが未知数なら決闘も面白かった。
It would have been an interesting duel if our strengths were unknown.
でも完全に互角と言い切られてしまったら決闘はじゃんけんと何も変わらない。
However, since we've been told they were perfectly even, this duel is no different from rock, paper, scissors.
ならいっそ6人全員でじゃんけんで決めますか。
In that case, why not use rock, paper, scissors to decide it?
バカ言え、そんなの嫌だぜ。
Are you kidding? I'm not going to do that. Decide whether you live or die via rock, paper, scissors.
仮に誰かが負けたとしてそいつが潔く負けを認めるわけねえだろ。
Even if someone does lose, there's no way they'd accept their loss.
負けを認めないならじゃんけんの勝者たち4人に攻撃され
If
る
they
こと
don't accept it, they'll be attacked with four winners. I don't want to be a dick, but the easiest way to solve this is while people are talking, someone takes out a knife, say Cannon draws his energy blade and just runs someone through. They're evenly matched in a one-on-one fight. It doesn't mean you can't just assassinate someone and call it a day. Right? Right? She said they're evenly matched in a one-on-one fight. It doesn't mean you can't just stab someone in the back, get the jump on them real quick, and end it. She said they're evenly matched, not that they're all nigh unkillable.
完全に互角なこの世界ではじゃんけんの敗者には生き残れる道理
In
は
a
ない
world where all are equal, the losers have no chance of surviving.
確かに。
True.
なんだ。
Oh no.
じゃんけんで決めるのが一番合理的だってのかよ。
Is rock, paper, scissors actually the most reasonable way to settle this?
極めて合理的だよ。
It's extremely reasonable.
しかし自分の運命を乱数8世紀に託すような
Over.
無謀ができるかと言われたら
If you'd
答え
ask
は
me
ノーだけ
whether
れどね。
I'm reckless enough to entrust my fate to a random number generator, the answer is no.
どうかそれを悩んでほし
Please
い。
consider the problem. I've already considered it.
それが私たちの出題する
This is the
第
second
二の
trial
試
we
練。
have for you. Thanks, Furfur.
考えて殺し合って
Think and fight to the death.
誰を生贄にするか決めてほしい。
Decide who the sacrifice will be. It's at least 220. 222? 223 maybe? Okay. We move forward a couple hours. And there's going to be another murder at some point. Will they skip that and just show us the body? What are we gonna see?
確かに考えられん話ではない。
It is unthinkable.
使用人が一番怪しい。
We're just resuming from pause here. Okay, the servants are the most suspicious. Sure.
物的証拠があるわけではありませんから縛ってクローゼットに放り込むわけにもいきません
It isn't as though we have any physical evidence. We can't tie them up and throw them in a closet.
ですから銃を持った皆さんの常に目に届くところに置いてよく見張る必要があります
We need to make sure they're always within sight of those with guns and we keep an eye on them at all times.
兄貴、マスターキーも回収した方がいい。
Aniki, we should also gather the master keys.
あの密室も使用人たち以外には作れるわけがないんだ。
Only the servants could have created those closed
使
rooms.
用人たちしか知らない構造や道具などできっとチェーンロックをどうにかできたに違いない。
They must have done something with the chain locks using some tool or arrangement that only the servants know about.
皆長く勤めてくれているものば
They all
かり。
served us for a long time.
私には到底彼らが殺人を犯すとは思えんのだ
I
が。
can hardly imagine they'd commit murder.
金蔵さんの寿命もわずかで遺産問題で大きく揺れているそうですね
Kinzo-san's life is nearly over. I can hear the inheritance problem. It's still very shaky.
それに加え10トンの黄金がどこかに隠されている
Out on
なん
that
て
story
話
about
もある
10 tons
そうじゃ
of
ないです
gold
か
being hidden somewhere.
それらの分け前にありつけるなら人は罪を犯せるかもしれません
A possible payoff like that might be enough to convince certain people to commit a crime. Certain individuals,
考えたく
perhaps.
はないが、クソ親父のおかしなオカルト儀式って可能性もある。
I don't want to think about it, but there's a chance that old bastard is running some bizarre occult
片翼
ceremony.
の使用人たちは親父の手先で殺人の実行者かもな。
The servants are the one winger as pawns. They might have been the ones to carry out the murders.
親父はどうなんだ。
How about Dad
ま
anyway?
だ連絡は取れないのか。
Have we been able to contact him yet? No.
内線電話も通じないのだ。
The extension line isn't working either.
犯人に壊されたのかもしれない。
The culprits may have broken it.
それに親父殿は不機嫌になると、
Well,
電
there
話の
does
受話器を外していることがよくある。
sometimes leave the receiver off the hook when he's in a bad mood.
ノックをしても、その
I
不機
know.
嫌な返事があるだけ。
I only received a grumpy reply.
連絡は取れんが、あの書斎はシェルターも同然だ。
We can't contact him, but that study is well protected.
むしろ安全だから閉じこもってくれた方がいいだろう。
It's probably safer there. It might be best to have him stay there. Flustered, Kraus tried to explain away Kinzo's silence. Battler, the game master, hadn't made Kinzo's death a major theme for this game, so the conversation didn't progress any further at this point. They stopped talking about Kinzo without Rudolph thinking anything was particularly suspicious.
いずれにせよ、使用人たちを野放しにはできねえ。
Anyway, we can't let the servants go unsupervised.
それでさっき秀吉兄さんとも相談したんだが、2階に2部屋に分かれて、全員で籠城しようということになったんだ。
I already talked with Hideyoshi-san about this. We've decided to split everyone into 2 rooms on the second floor and hole up in there.
なぜ2部屋なのかね。
Why 2
1
rooms?
部屋の方が心強いだろうな。
Wouldn't 1 be more secure?
さすがに一部屋に12人もの人間では窒息します
If you tried to stick 12 people in 1 room, they'd suffocate.
そして
最も注意すべき人物だけを隔離したいという思惑もあります。
It's also best to isolate the people we need to keep the closest eye on.
使用人の頭である源氏さん、一番体格のいい幸田さん、
There's There's Genji-san, head of the servants. Goda-san, the largest there.
若輩とはいえカノンさんも男性です。
And though he's just a kid, Canon-san is a boy.
この3人を特にマークすべきだと思う。
I think we need to pay those three special attention, Aniki.
そこでこの3人を隔離し、俺と兄貴で監視する。
This way, we can isolate the group and you and I can keep a close eye on them. So in this way, Erica is convincing them to basically do her investigating for her on two people. And since Battler was dumb enough to tell them direct words like Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda and Gross are not killers or the culprit, since Battler was dumb enough to do that, she can use them as her agents, knowing that they're not going to be knowing that they're going to work for her to investigate that person to the best of their abilities, effectively allowing her to axe off Canon and Genji here without any effort. If they try to do any killings, they'll get caught, or they'll have to kill the person who's bodyguarding them. Battler, really? Okay. I don't know why Battler didn't try any of this shit. Battler just sat there passively and let people do whatever. Because he refused to even attempt to consider that someone from within was the enemy. Every time it was presented in his face. Oh well.
2丁の銃。俺と兄貴なら、とっさの時、連携もできる。
We can keep a close eye on them. With two guns, the pair of us could cooperate on a moment's notice.
少しでもおかしな動きを見せたら、ズドンだ。
If they make even a single suspicious move, boom.
わかった。そうしよう。
I understand, let's do that.
だがルドルフ、
But Rudolph,
彼らが犯人であると決まったわけではない。
we can't be certain that they're culprits.
あまり高圧的にはなるな。
Don't be so pushy.
兄貴に高圧的になる。
Telling me not to be
そり
pushy.
ゃ俺たちも老けるわけだぜ。
We gotta be getting old.
今上で秀吉さんに部屋分けをしてもらっています。
Right now, Hideyoshi-san is upstairs dividing everyone into the two rooms.
隔離者たちをいとこ部屋に集め、他はその隣の部屋へ集めます。
It's fun how Beto only had episode 1 with them hiding in the study for protection. It wouldn't be interesting. Yeah, but in all of these later games, they're all trying to hide the fact that Kinzo doesn't exist. So for any game that Kinzo's body isn't visibly dead at the first Twilight, nobody's gonna hide there because Gross and Natsuhi are going to be incentivized not to allow anyone into the room. Right? So unless someone's dead, it's not going to happen. Alright, right now Hideyoshi's upstairs dividing everyone into two rooms. We'll gather the ones being isolated in the cousin room, and the others will go to the next room over.
そうだ、兄貴。
Aniki.
ジェシカちゃんなんだが、
What about Jessica-chan?
兄貴と一緒の部屋がいいと言って聞かない。
She insists on being in the same room as you. Jessica.
隔離のいとこ部屋が5人、隣の部屋7人の部屋割りでしたからね。
You're planning on having 5 people in the cousin room and 7 in the room over. The next room over.
ジェシカさんがいとこ部屋を希望するなら、ちょうど半々になります。
If Jessica wants to go to the cousin room, it'll be split clean down the middle.
狼と羊のパズルで言うなら、今は使用人狼が3匹に、クラウスさん、ルドルフ
This
さん
was a
の
wolves and
羊
sheep
が
puzzle.
2
There are now 3 servant wolves and you 2 sheep in that room.
匹。ジェシカさんを加えた方が、確かにバランスがいいとは思います。
If you add in Jessica-san, it'll be balanced out. For a while, Kraus crossed his arms and thought, the cousin room would surely be more dangerous, so he wanted his daughter to go into the next room over. However, in an emergency like this, he wanted to have his daughter where he could see her.
一緒にいさせたらどうだ。
Let's let her stay with us. Okay, so Rudolph go to, she's thinking Rudolph go to Kraus, and she's thinking I caught Canon, Jessica, and Genji, right? 3 of them caught here.
俺たちが良い父、良い叔父でいるために必要なリミッ
It
ター
might
の
need
役
her
かもし
there
れねえぜ
to。make sure we remain good dads and uncles. Okay.
そうだな。
Yes.
私も今は理性的なふりをしている。
At the moment, even I am only trying to act in a rational manner.
しかしいつ妻を失った悲しみを怒りに置き換えないとは限らん。
Can't guarantee my sadness that losing my wife won't change to anger. Even without any physical evidence, the servants are certainly the most suspicious. You know, it'd be kind of funny if we had like a twist where Kraus and Rudolph, despite not being the killers or the culprit acknowledged by Battler, decided to just gun down the servants. And she's like, what the fuck? And then realizes that she incentivized them to accuse them of murder and get them shot. That would be a funny twist, but alas, we're not going to see something interesting like that. No consequences here. During the long wait, the two men's weariness, anger, and sadness might make them lose reason and act on anger, and no surprising kills either. After thinking deeply, Kraus decided to accept Jessica's request, in part to prevent such a thing from happening.
それがいいと思います。
I think that's a good idea.
私も賛成です。
I approve as well.
同感だ。
I
子
agree.
供を失うのは
It's enough that
俺とローザだけ
only
で
Rosa and I lose children.
ルドルフ。
Rudolph. Okay. In this way, all the survivors except Kinzo split into two groups and holed up in the two rooms of the guest house on the second floor. One group was in the cousin room. Kraus, Rudolph, Jessica, Genji, Ken, and Goda. 6 people. One is in the next room over. Hideyoshi, George, Shannon, Kumasawa, Nanjo, and Erika. So of this room, Erika's looking at George, Shannon, Kumasawa, and Nanjo. Alright. 6 people here too. Perhaps as a result of the killers doing, the external phone line had been cut off. They'd have to wait for the ferry boat coming the next day before they could contact the police. However, the weather report said the typhoon would make the ocean rough all the next day. When such a thing happens, the ferry boat takes the day off. It'd probably be 2 days before the boat came. In other words, they'd have to spend a full 2 nights holed up in here. Well, it's only 2 nights. It's at least only 2 nights. While Eric and the others held their planning meeting in the lounge, food and blankets had been brought in to prepare for the siege. The sudden tragedy had everyone on edge, but it was already well after 2 in the morning. If they really suspected the servants, then the observers couldn't afford to fall asleep at the same time. Either Kraus or Rudolph should probably take a nap anyway. Or right away.
さすがだな。
Not bad, not bad.
探偵権限がないにもかかわらず、うまく場を支配しているぜ。
Even without the detective's authority, you managed to take control pretty cleverly. Why is Battler even letting people go along with this? When Battler played, he wasn't able to manipulate anything. He basically just sat there and let things happen and had to try and work things out here. And Erica, meanwhile, can like tell people what to do. And everyone's taking proactive things that are exactly in line with what she wants. Bit annoying. And
冷静を
inconsistent.
書いた男など感情むき出しの犬と同じです。
Man who's lost his cool is no different from an emotional dog.
適切に扱えば簡単にコントロール可能です。
You treat them properly, it's easy to control them. One of the benefits of the detective's authority was being able to take charge of the situation. Because of this, Erica, who's both a guest and a young girl, had been able to order a large number of adults around at will. However, she didn't have the power this time. She just has it anyway. So Erica had taken charge by making good use of her natural conversation skills and techniques for controlling men.
探偵権限も魔法と同じだな。
The detective's authority is the same as magic.
できないことはやれないってわけだ。
Can't do anything that's impossible for you. Yeah?
エリカにそれだけの力があったから認められていたというわけか。
I guess Erica was only acknowledged as such because she already possessed that much power.
魔法とは決して怠惰で無力な人間に与えられるものではないのですね。
Magic is not something given to lazy or powerless humans.
そうだ
I。would seem so. Right.
むしろ人知れぬ努力を隠せるやつこそが魔女と呼べるん
On
だ
the
ろうぜ。
contrary, people who can hide their great efforts are the ones we call witches. The absolute nature of the detective's authority can affect even magic. However, that convenient power probably hadn't been given to Erica easily. I probably have to acknowledge it. Even if she isn't given a special power by the witch she serves, she's capable of doing quite a lot on her own.
しかしエリカ、どうして2部屋に分けた？
Erica, why split them into 2 rooms?
てっきり一部屋に全員を集めるとばか
I
り思っ
figured
て
you
いた
try
ぞ
to gather everyone in one room. No, this way she has to look at less people. She puts all the not suspicious people in the other room so she doesn't have to concern herself with them.
探偵権限があればそうしました。
What if I had the detective
こ
authority?
れは自由捜査権を確保するための一手です。
The move to preserve my right to investigate it will.
ああそういう
Ah,
こ
is
とか
that it?
なるほど
I see. Not
Yeah,
bad,
no.
not bad. Still in time for the good stuff. Since Erica was being protected as a guest, it was hard for her to move about freely. In truth, she wanted to take some time and investigate the victims at the crime scene at her leisure, without being interrupted by anyone. She already inspected the scenes once in a huge rush as she ran through the mansion, but that probably hadn't been perfect. However, they wouldn't have let a guest into the crime scenes, so she had no other choice back then. She wanted some time to herself and freedom to investigate more, in part so she could check the closed rooms and causes of death more closely.
それが2部屋に分かれて籠城するのと
Is that related to
ど
splitting
う
everyone
関
to
係があ
2
るのでしょう。
rooms?
そこは奴が口車でうまいことや
She'll
る
be
の
able
さ
to trick them with it.
見てな
Watch.
ええ、そのためだけに2部屋に分
That's
け
the
た
only
のです
reason
か
I
ら。
split them into 2 rooms. The cousin room was filled with a quiet tension. The room had 6 people. Kraus, Jessica, and Rudolph. And then the suspicious ones, the male servants Genji, Kanon, and Goda, who'd been forced to hole up in here. Jessica leaned against Kraus's shoulder, wrapped in a blanket. She was drowsy, but apparently couldn't get to sleep. It was no surprise. In this bizarre situation, it'd probably take some time before she could accept her mother's death. Kanon thought this was the sort of time he should stay by Jessica's side, but that looked like it would be hard to do in front of Rudolph's intimidating glare. Rudolph stayed completely silent, but his inner emotions showed clearly in his eyes, so Genji, Kanon, and Goda didn't have to ask to realize they were suspected. Sometimes Goda asked to help in an attempt to get on their good side and correct this misunderstanding, but it seemed to be having the opposite effect. The best option available to him was to stay quiet so he didn't aggravate Rudolph and sit still at the end of the sofa. In the next room over, there were also 6 people: Erica, Hideyoshi, George, Shannon, Nanjo, and Kumasawa. The format of the room and the constricted atmosphere were the same as the cousin room. Even so, it was relatively calm there. George sat holding Shannon, who was darkly hanging her head the whole time. Kumasawa and Nanjo sat nervously as they listened to Hideyoshi explaining the situation. Alright.
敵が何人いるかもわからんのや。
Don't know how many enemies there
し
are.
かし、わしらにはこうして銃がある。
But we got guns with us.
もちろん撃ったこともあるで。
And of course, I've shot guns before.
ハワイ射撃センターとちゃうで。
I'm not talking Hawaii shooting center
わし
here.
な、もう時効だから白状するが、進駐軍のピストルをぶっ放して、タ
Been
ンカを
long
撃った
enough, I
こと
can
もあるん
confess.
やで。
But I once defiantly fired off one of them Occupying Forces
当
pistols.
時の闇市は外国人ヤクザが牛耳っとってな。
You see, back then the black market was controlled by foreign gangsters. He probably wanted to make everyone feel secure by convincing them he could be relied on. Hideyoshi went into one of his old stories everyone had heard many times, and which had gotten more extravagant each time they heard it. It's one of those stories, right? It didn't make them more confident in Hideyoshi's abilities, but it did seem to calm things down a little by bringing in a sense of normality.
どうしてこんな事件が
Why is a crime like this happening?
明日
Sorry, part of the game board.
船が来られればいいのですが
I hope the boat comes tomorrow.
明日は
It might
難しい
come,
でしょう
but
な。
there will probably be nobody left alive. It seems unlikely.
二晩の長丁場になりそうだ。
Looks like we'll be staying here 2 nights.
とにかくこういう時はしっかり睡眠をとりましょう。
Now is a good time to get some sleep.
この状況ですやすや眠れるほど
My nerves aren't dull enough to let me sleep soundly in a place like this, situation like this. Yeah, that'd be hard to sleep. George-sama. The pain and anger of losing his mother quietly tormented George. Wait, was it George? Didn't George murder her? George is the one who murdered her, and he's like, the pain and anger of losing his mother tormented him. Yeah, okay, dude. Sleepiness probably wouldn't be coming to him for a while. Erika suddenly clapped her hands as though she'd just remembered something, and then whispered in Hideyoshi's ear, interrupting the old story, which he'd grown quite engrossed with.
Sorry,
I'm going to the custom room for a second.
ちょっとどうしても向こうの使用人の方たちに確認
There's one
した
thing I
い
need
こ
to
とが
check
あ
on
り
with
ま
the
して
servants over there.
なんや電話ではあかんのか
Can't you use the phone? Nope. I'm gonna lie about where I'm going so I can do whatever I
部
want.
屋番号をダイヤルするだけやで
You just need to dial the room number.
ほら、お忘れですか
Have you forgotten?
電話。どうも犯人に壊されてるみたいです
Seems
し
the culprit broke the phones, not the internal lines though, most of the time.
なんやひょっとして
You don't mean
彼らの証言に何か矛盾でも気づいたっちゅうんか
you found a contradiction in their testimonies? Up until this point, Erika spent a lot of time giving the impression she behaved like a detective, so Hideyoshi immediately assumed this is something vital to do with the crime.
簡単な確認ですが、ひょっとすると
It'll be
大
easy to
きな
check,
ほころびを出すか
but
も
it
しれま
might
せ
be a
ん。
huge
ちょ
lead.
っと行ってきます。
I'll be back before long.
誰も部屋から出さないでください。
Don't let anyone leave this room.
隣の部屋とはいえ一人は不用心やで
Even though it's the next room over, it's too dangerous to go alone.
誰かお供を連れてった方がええんとちゃうか
You sure you don't want to take someone with you? No, I'm lying
使
about
用
where I'm
人
going
た
to.
ちも南條さんも完全には信用でき
You
ませ
can't
ん。
trust the servants or Nancho completely.
秀吉さんはこの部屋の責任者。
You're in charge of this room.
ジョージさんも秀吉さんをサポートできる優秀な
George is
男
supporting
で誰も避けません。
There's no one left.
大丈夫です。探偵は襲われないって。
Don't worry, the
決まって
detective
ますか
never
ら
gets attacked. Erika had already worked hard to look like a sharp, clear-headed person. Hideyoshi relaxed and agreed, thinking it's just next door, it won't be a problem.
小1時間ほどで
After an hour
あ
now.
まりうろちょろするのも不用心ですね。
Better not to wander around too
朝
much.
まで隣にいます。
I'll stay over there until morning.
明るくなってから戻ってくる方がいいですよね。
It'll be better if I wait until it gets light before I get back. Look at this. She's just like duped this idiot Hideyoshi into letting her wander around for the entire day safely.
その
Because
通
she
り
knows
や
she's not going to get killed. Good thinking.
気を
What?
つけてな
Be careful now. Hideyoshi, Hideyoshi, you have brain damage. Alright.
お隣の部屋に行くだけなの
Just a
に。
little trip to the next room over. I'll just be gone all day. Don't mind me. 6 in each room.
この部
Really?
屋
Does anyone
よ
fall
ろ
for
し
that?
くお願いします。
Take good care of this
誰
room.
も外へ出さないでください。
Don't let anyone leave.
この部屋を出るあらゆる理由がないよう、あらゆるものを運び込んだのですから。
We already brought everything we need up here, so there's no reason for anyone to leave. Food, drinks, blankets, medicine, towels, tissue paper, everything. The women also had their cosmetic pouches. They could last 48 hours without lacking for anything.
分かっとる
I know.
この部屋におるんは身を守るためだけやない
We aren't just here to protect
ひょっ
ourselves.
としたらおるかもしれない犯人を見張る意味もあるのを
We're on the lookout for the culprit if he's among us. So, is she going to seal these two rooms and call it a day? Seal these two rooms? And, like, the building itself?
よ
Who
く
knows?
分かっとる
We're on the lookout for the culprit. If he's among us, I understand.
グッドです。
Good, good.
ではどうかよろしくお願いし
Goodbye
ます。
then.
エリカちゃんどこへ
Where are you going, Erica?
表には誰も出ない約束だよ
We promised no one would go outside.
ああエリカちゃんはちょいと特別な用事を思い出してな
Erica remembered something important she had to do.
隣へ行く
She's going over to the next
大
room.
丈夫平気や
Don't worry, she'll be fine. Hideyoshi suspected Shannon might be one of the culprits. Since he also knew that Shannon and George had a special relationship, he apparently thought it would be prudent to mislead George about Erica's actions and motives. Hideyoshi slowly opened the door and checked both ways down the corridor, his gun raised.
大丈夫
Sorry,
誰もおらんで
no one's there.
ここまでで結構です。
That's far
あなたが部屋を出ると同時にシャノンさんが表変してジョージさんを人質
For all
に
we
取ら
know,
ない
Shannon
とも
might
限
take
りません
George's
よ。
son hostage as soon as you leave the room, right?
今こうして彼らに背中を向けているのさえ
Careless showing your
少
back to
々
them as
不
you're
用
doing
心
now.
です。
せやな。じゃあ用心するんやで。
Be
後で
careful.
わしにも話を聞かせて
Tell
や。
me all about it later. Why is Hideyoshi this dumb? Alright,
はい、それでは
sure, bye then. Erica closed the door, pushing Hideyoshi back inside. She waited for the sound of the lock, and her smiling eyes opened wide. Her expression became ruthless and intelligent, and in this way, she was able to gain several hours during which all the suspects were sealed up and she alone was free.
ようやく自由捜査権を得ました。
Finally, I can investigate to my heart's content.
その前に
First, I don't know why you would ever let this happen, but
後ろ
okay.
宮バトラ
Yoshiromia Battler?
フルネームで呼ぶな。
Don't use my full name.
ここで登場人物全員の所在確認をさせてください。
Allow me to confirm the location of all characters
復
present.
唱要求です。
Repeat.
無論。これにも答え
I'm
る義
not
務はねえ
obligated
ぜ
to respond, remember?
その場合は私が見てない間に部屋を抜け出し、その人物が今後起こるだろう不思議な事件の実行者だと主張しきるだけです。
Okay, we'll solve that at the end of the game. If you don't, it'll just say someone snuck out while I wasn't looking and that the person was responsible for the bizarre crimes that are sure to
不可
follow.
能犯罪を見せたいなら、ま
If
ず
you
は
wanna
所
show me
在
an
確
impossible murder,
認に応じるべきです。
you should first confirm their locations.
いいだろ
Sure, why
う。
not?
一応は聞いてやるぜ。
I'll listen. Let's
言ってみ
hear it.
いとこ部屋に対し、隣の籠城部屋をこれより隣部屋と呼称します
Instead。of repeating the barricaded room next to the cousin room, let's say the next room
よろ
over.
しいですね。
Does that work for you?
わかりやすいな。
Simple enough.
そ
Got
れ
it.
で
And?
今からする所在確認は生死を問いません。
When I checked everyone's locations as I'm about to, I'm not concerned with whether they're alive nor dead.
体の所在と考えてください。
Think of it as the location of their body.
そしてもちろん現時点でのことで
I'm
す。
referring to the current point in
では
time.
参ります。
Here we go.
第1の番の犠牲者6人の所在は発見場所の通りである。
The first 6 Twilight victims are located at the places where they were discovered.
夏日は自室、エヴァは貴賓室、キリエはクラウスの書斎、ローザとマリアは客間で、あんたは客室。
Natsuhi's in a room, Eva's in the VIP room, Kyrie is in the Krause's study, Rosa and Mario are in the parlor, and you're in the guest room.
まさか、
Don't tell
こ
me you're already
の
gonna
時点で
refuse.
もうこの
いいぜ。
Don't
それ
worry.
を認める。
I acknowledge it. First off, it's acknowledged the victim's location with the same as the rooms that have been shown by the witch's side illusion.
ぐっと続けます。
I'll
隣
continue.
部屋に所在するのは、秀吉、ジョージ、シ
So
ャノン、
no, I don't get why
熊沢、
like Erica's
南條
able
であ
to.
る。
I don't know why Battler is so free with the red when he knows he's not supposed to be. Like he's supposed to not say any red until the very end of the game at midnight, and instead he's just giving her whatever she asks for, like we're playing the first game, or like we're playing the second game. All right, whatever. George, Hideyoshi, Shannon, Kumasawa, and Nanjo are in the next room over.
認める。
Acknowledged. With that, the humans in the room Erica just left have been specified. Carefully checking. Like, if a battler who doesn't know the rules of the game can win, then how the can beat Beatrice? How the fuck does Battler expect he's gonna beat someone who knows all the rules of the game and has absolute truth on their side? And has, like, multiple methods of obtaining it and blue truth? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Carefully checking even obvious things like that was the most basic part of playing on the human side.
ぐっと続けます。
I'll
い
continue.
とこ部屋に所在するのは、それ以外の全員
Everyone
である。
else is in the cousin room? They weren't everyone drew a slight reaction from Battler. The intuition he'd built up from all of his previous games told him not to answer this one instantly.
拒否する。
I
それを
refuse.
認めるって言うと、金蔵の遺体もいとこ部屋の中にあるって論法になっちまうから
Acknowledging
な。
that would mean that Kinzo's corpse would also have to be in the cousin room.
はあ、失礼。
Oh,
金
pardon.
蔵はすでに存在しないことが確定していますから、全員という言葉からは抜いて考えてくだ
Been
さ
shown
い。
Kinzo no longer exists. Please remove him from the word everyone.
なぜいとこ部屋だけ全員という言い方をする？
Why are you using the word everyone for the cousin room alone?
クラウス以下6人の名前を個別に挙げて
Why are you so
なぜそ
vague?
んなアバウトな言い方で
When you could mention the names of Kraus and the other 5 individually?
6人の名前をいちいち読み上げるのが
Maybe
面
too much
倒
of
く
a
さ
pain
い
to
か
read
ら
all
で
their
す。
names?
それとも何か
Is there something wrong?
全員という言葉だと何か問題のあるトリックでもあるんですか
Does using the word everyone create a problem with some trick of yours? Too late now, Battler. You're the one who agreed to do whatever she wanted when she demands red text, so you gotta answer this, otherwise it looks sus. Battler's sweating because he's throwing so hard? Yeah. Like, no one's even been killed, and she's just like, I don't get it. Like, even Battler wasn't this aggressive, and Beatrice wasn't this, this kind to whoever was playing the game. It's like, every 5 minutes, Erica can just pause the game and be like, are these people in this room? 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 Like, you're literally letting Erica just use your powers to divine anything she wants to. I don't get it. Like right now, she's able to use your powers to divine the locations of everyone without ever checking. Why are you letting her do this? It's like, you don't have detective powers. Bro, she's got better than detective powers. She has Battler sitting there being like, ah, yes, the exact locations of everyone. Here, here, and here. Okay. And she's like, ah, I see. Anyway, in 5 minutes, where is it? Ah, here, here, here. Gotcha. Okay. His closed rooms don't work without red truths? Yes. But the point is, like, Erica, he's not just answering questions related to the closed rooms or the murders. He's just answering any question she asks with the red truth she asks for. That doesn't make sense to me. Right, just saying everyone create a problem for some trick of yours? Yeah, sure. If Battler had been told to repeat Kraus, Rudolph, Jessica, Genji, Goda, and Ken in the cousin room, he probably would have acknowledged it with the red without thinking too much. Of course, normally Erica would have mentioned the names of everyone inside and had him repeat it precisely. Battler paused, feeling some kind of unease because of the expected demand in the word everyone.
私と金蔵を除き17人いる島で
Excluding Kinzo and me, there are 17 people on this
6
island.
人が殺されて屋敷に横たわり隣部屋に5人がいる
6 were killed or lying in the mansion, 5 are in the
と
next
な
room
れ
over.
ば残る6人はいとこ部屋にいる
And the remaining 6 are in the cousin room.
これが正常な考えでしょ
That's a reasonable assumption to make, right?
しかし
However,
17人いる島だから6を引いて5を引いてさらに6を引けばちょうど0になって所在不明の人間は0になるという思い込みは大変危
if we
険です
subtract 6, then 5, then 6 again, we're left with 0 humans whose locations haven't been checked. But that sort of assumption would be extremely
バ
dangerous.
トラさんもこの辺の名前と人数のトリックで第3のゲームの南條殺しで散々苦しめられたはずです
I'm pretty sure that the sort of trick involving names and numbers of people caused you a lot of trouble when not just murder in the room. You're saying Erica knows all the rules, so if he doesn't answer, she can use that as an excuse to use the blue? There's no point not answering anything she demands, unless it won't lead her anywhere. The point is not to answer anything so that she has to fabricate a blue, because that way presumably she won't have the time to use all of her lines of logic, because you'll wait until the end of the game. So the reasoning is this: you wait to the end of the game. You wait till the end of the game, and then you answer all of her blues, so that she can't spend the entire fucking game asking you questions about the red, and she has to come up with things on the spot, so she's pressured and can't spend the whole game developing her theories, which is exactly what Beatrice does, right? And exactly what literally everyone does. And Battler knows this, but Erica's just asking questions and is like, is this true? Is this true? Is this true? Like, how is it even reasonable if Erica can literally ask anyone's position at any point in time during the game for any reason? Like, okay, every 30 seconds, I'm playing this game, every 30 seconds, are all these people in the rooms I think they are? Oh, someone's not? Boom, guilty. Like, what a game. Like, okay, we're playing murder mystery, and every 5 seconds, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna get, we're playing a murder mystery game. I'm gonna pause every 5 seconds. Everyone has to freeze. I check everyone's locations. I check whether they're alive or dead. And then I go back and I'm like, I know the killer. They were in the same room together for 1 second. Like, great. What a game. Or one person wasn't in place for 1 minute. Like, how is this even an interesting game? If Erica's able to just immediately do this whenever she wants to on demand. Like, it's not a game if she can just ask everyone's location and status and anytime she wants to, for any reason, any minute, and freeze time whenever she wants to do that. Because then it just results in you immediately knowing everyone's locations and whether or not they're, like, okay, someone moved out of the room. Oh, boom. That's suspicious. I can instantly pursue it. I can't be killed, so, like, I can just follow it, or I can know if they stop moving. Like, really? Erica's being an annoying metagamer. Like, I don't know how you're supposed to have a mystery if everyone's in the room and she just pauses time every 20 seconds to check if someone's left the room until the game ends. Like, how are you supposed to have anyone get killed? Everyone's in the room. She knows all the locations of everyone. So all he can do is have someone in the room stab someone. That's all he can. That's literally all he can do. And then everyone else. And what's everyone going to do? Just lie about who the killer is? Or have, like he's going to have, like, one person in each room stab the other person? Stab another person so that she's, like, confused and realizes that there's two killers or something? Like, that's presumably what he's going to do? Because that's the only thing he can do if she, like, locks down all the options for killers and where people are? At any time? So it, like, hopefully becomes a he said, she said, but of course Erica is obligated. Erica has a perfect memory and is required to receive all the information, but also not required. I don't fucking get it. Like, it seems really silly. Like, why does Battler not do this during every single round? Because he's a moron? Like, how about you do this? Everyone go back to their own rooms, and the second someone leaves their room, you just accuse them of being the murderer and kill them. Like, okay. That's like the easiest thing. Why didn't Battler do this during any of his games? Force everyone to stay in their own individual room. Spam Beato to tell him if they were in their room that they were assigned every 4 seconds. Like, being able to do this is really stupid. But whatever. I guess that's how the game goes. May as well ask Erica to ask if they're alive or dead so you can know the exact second someone died. Alright. I may as well also have Erica ask where they die, where they're positioned in the room, and if they're armed or some shit. Like, whatever. All right. So I'm guessing since Erica's going to use her powers of divination, Battler is probably going to just have someone in the room die while they're in the room. The point is she should know where everyone is already because she just left them. So if they left, it would be suspicious. I mean, she just left. I mean, she just left the room, so anyone else could leave and say they had something else to do. And it could be literally one of the innocent people saying they're off to do something else. Because they're like, I want to get something. Like, anyone could come up with anything. Battler could just have fucking everyone leave, because, like, Battler could, if he wanted to, just have everyone leave, because they're like, well, Erica's been gone 20 minutes, she's probably dead. So George and Shannon duck out. Hideyoshi goes with them. Like, you could just have everyone fucking split out of the room because Erica left. And be like, well, they didn't stay because you didn't stay. That would be like an okay mystery. Maybe that's what he does. But I mean, assume Erica's just gonna like sit in the hallway and be like, well, if anyone... I assume Erica's either gonna like magic seal both the rooms and then one other place. Or she's just gonna sit there and watch the doors to see if anyone tries to leave. So she can then be like, ah, there we go. Like, I don't know what investigation she has to do here. Alright. So, I'm sure this trick involving names and numbers of people caused you a lot of trouble with Nanjo's murder in the third game?
そうだな。
Good point.
あの時のトリックは、18人分の名前と実際に存在する18人が食い違うこと。
That trick worked because the 18 names given didn't match up with the 18 people who actually existed?
未知の人物が混入する余地を許していた。
That's why I said Battler shouldn't be giving out any information like this beforehand. Just play like Beatrice and Ava play and just say, go fuck yourself until midnight so that she can't just use your powers to divine stuff. Like, that's what Erica's doing right now, is she's using the GM's powers to divine information she has no way of knowing. Like, she doesn't even know right now if the other 6 people are even in the room. They could have left before she even had her conversation because they're like, actually, no, we forgot something and maybe didn't even make it to the room. Or that room was like blockaded or some shit. But thanks to the powers of the GM here, she can know anything she wants to, including locations at any time, which is kind of lame. Even if it's something she should presumably know. Because being told her by Battler in red means it's true. Alright. That trick worked because there were 18 people. Didn't match the 18 people who existed, leaving room to add in an unknown person.
そういうことです。
Exactly.
ですから、
And
名
so I
前だ
can
けで
feel
の
secure.
所在確認は安心できないわけです。
I can't feel secure just by checking their locations
そ
by
こで
name.
私は全員という言葉を採用することにしました。
Do keep in mind she couldn't use it as per for a blue because she'd only know it from red. Erica's able to do that. She was able to do that in the previous game. She was able to do that in the previous game, and Battler attempted to counter by saying, shouldn't you require evidence? And they told him to go fuck himself. So, while Battler can't do that, Erica is able to do so. They've been inconsistent with the application, and they specifically said that that some stuff requires no evidence. So Battler, being the GM, is able to give her red truths, and she is able to formulate conclusions based on that with absolute weight. That was specifically related to Krause's death in the last game. That was given as red truth by Frederica Berncastel. And Battler said, "How do you know?" Or that was given as absolute truth, and that there needed no evidence for that. And then Battler said, "How do you know?" And that was the response. So Battler blue truthed, "How do you know they're dead?" And the answer was, "It's red truth. Fuck you." So if she's given red truth, she's allowed to formulate anything she wants to off of that, or use it to formulate her conclusions. Krause's dead wasn't used as evidence. Krause's dead was used to eliminate the possibility of Krause killing anyone or moving any bodies. It was clearly being used as evidence in that state, because it was, could it be Krause? Could it be Natsuhi? Could it be Kinzo? And it's like, red text, Krause is dead. Oh, I guess it wasn't Krause. Easy. Yeah. But it's used to break the possibility of Battler using it later on as saying Krause could have been the killer or could have done something. And they responded with Krause was gone. It's being used as red text it's being used as evidence to prevent Natsuhi from... It's being used as evidence to prove that Natsuhi is guilty by process of elimination, by eliminating one of the suspects. That's clearly evidence. And then it's used as evidence to say that Natsuhi couldn't be anyone other than the culprit when Battler suggests that Krause could be the culprit. That's clearly being used as evidence. He formulates a blue text that relies on it not being true, and it's used as evidence to shoot it down. So Erica is able to formulate blue text off of that, off of red text, as often as she wants. You're able to formulate it off of red text that the witches give you, that are apparently game masters or like fuck you reasons. It's not quite clear, but if Battler said that, she's clearly allowed to do whatever she wants, and even if she's given that information, she just has to go verify it in game anyway. Like if Battler tells her everything, hey, let's say Battler tells her exactly what happens, okay? So Battler tells her that, like, I don't know, Nazi committed, like, Battler can tell her, like, I don't know, Shannon went and stabbed, Shannon went and stabbed, who the fuck did Shannon kill? I don't care. Shannon went and stabbed Kyrie to death, okay? Battler can say that, and Erica can work off of that information and go get evidence for it. There's nothing stopping her from doing that. If Battler straight up tells her who the killer is, she can just go prove it anyway. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. That's why it's really stupid that Battler's giving away so much information. And we already know Erica's able to make use of red text that's been granted by divination as part of her defense for her arguments. As part of a defense for her arguments, and they're unassailable. The only reason Battler's red text wasn't accepted was because complete bullshit, basically. The GM is biased against him and won't let him use it. Battler's giving her the red text, so Battler's giving her the red text, so he's going to let her use it. Right? Battler was given his red text by Virgilia, who I don't know who the fuck is controlling her, but they were literally like memeing on him, so they didn't want to let him use it. Battler's gonna let her use it. Because the magic of red text is fuck you, whatever the rules are, they work. So based on my own rationale, it's like it has to be like the GM's approval to use red text or some shit. And since Battler's GM apparently the highest authority, up below Lambda Delta, it's gonna work, unless Lambda specifically prohibits it. Because Burn Castile is able to use red, and she's on the other side, but like that doesn't really matter. Anyway, like I said, that scene, all they had to do was change it to one of Nox's rules that they'd already used before, but I guess they didn't want to repeat it, so we can use their choice of not repeating one of Nox's rules as counter evidence to instead say that red text can literally be used arbitrarily or unarbitrarily based on someone else's decision. So this red text is all valid as evidence. Until proven otherwise. Like, until someone says you can't use that text, the text has to be usable. And Battler is in more of a position of authority than Virgilia was, so I'm left to assume that all of the red text Battler gives and all the text Erica asks for will be given and admissible. The fact that they even said some red text doesn't count is some of the dumbest shit ever. Because you may as well just say, this blue truth doesn't work because I don't like it. That's why I use the word everyone. The word can prevent you from using a two trick I haven't even thought of. I can't feel secure by checking the locations by name. Alright. I see. Very crafty of you. If Battler was planning a new trick where the names and number of people would be used to create false alibis, then a murder of Nanjo in the third game, even naming off all 17 people and checking their positions left a trace of uncertainty behind. If he cleverly managed to slip somebody past the names and numbers of people. For example, let's say an unknown assassin X is hiding on this island. Let's call him the Puru Puru Pico Man. I see. Even if you list everyone's names and check their locations, this Puru Puru Pico Man would fall outside the net. Precisely.
この島には17人しかいない。そして17人の所在はここであるとされても
Even hearing there are only 17 people on this island and here are the locations of 17
それだ
people
けでは不十分なわけで
insufficient.
す。前科もあるわけですからね。
There's already precedent for this.
しかし全員というのはあまりに範囲の
The
広
word
すぎる言い
everyone
方
is
で
too
す。
broad.
他の言い方でうまく言い直せないでしょうか。
Can you word it a little better?
いや、ここで全員という言葉から
No, if we run away from the word everyone
エ
here.
リカはそれを根拠に、すべての犯人をプルプルピコマルトやらの仕業で逃れきっちまう可能性がある。
There's a chance Erica will use that as the basis for making Puru Puru Pico Man the culprit for everything. This is why, Battler, you don't just give out all the red text all day.
かつての俺も
I've already had my rant.
お前との戦いで未知の18人目 X だけを根拠に
In my old fights with you, I also nailed several riddles with no basis other than the unknown 18th person X. That can't be done here because we know there's already a limit on the number of characters on the island. But I guess you can give out everyone.
全員という言葉の重み。
The word everyone is significant.
よーく考えてお
Make
返事
sure you
くだ
think
さいね。
very carefully first. Erica wore a full but evil smile, confident she made a powerful move. Players on the witch side must eradicate all possibilities that would be possible for humans. If I don't crush any chance for this ridiculously named Puru Puru Pico Man right now, he'll be used to explain everything the witch does. How can he be used to explain everything the witch does? When, how can he be used to explain everything the witch does? When, there's a hard limit on the number of people on the island and no one new has been introduced. But alright. Sure, Battler's coming up with bullshit excuses to give her whatever text she wants. This was a move I liked to use in my old games with Peato. The move already doesn't work. Back at the very beginning of the fight, my counterattacks were all based on the unknown 19th person X. Because of that, Beato restricted the number of people on the island, making it necessary to eliminate the any unknown person hiding somewhere. Yep, in this case, this is the same. Yep, we already have the hard cap of the limit, but she's able to define everyone to stop you from slipping names and aliases in. Because you're too dumb. Alright. Just like Beato did, I need to get rid of any leeway which X person can exist. The number of people in the island has already been announced but since she's suspecting tricks involving names and numbers of people, saying the same thing again won't satisfy her. In that case, I have no choice but to respond to her demand and use the same word everyone. Cool. The word has a disturbing ring to it, and though I haven't figured it out yet, it feels like there's a demonic killer move hidden within it. After insulting Beato so much and saying that the witch side has a huge advantage, I'm getting this pressure just dealing to a single line to repeat. Deflection, right? You mean the Czech term?
はい。
Yes.
敵の駒に圧力をかけ、移動を強いて、敵陣形を自らに崩させる手法のこと
A
です。
technique of putting pressure on an enemy piece, forcing it to move and making them weaken their own position.
全員とい
I'm
う
threatening with broad
あ
and
まり
powerful
に広域で
piece.
強力な
Tell
駒に
everyone. Pressuring
私
you to
は移
move.
動を強いているわけです。バトラさんにとってはこれによって生存者全員のアリバイが完全に保証され
With this, Battler San will be able to perfectly guarantee alibis for all the
以後の不
survivors.
可能犯罪を私に言い逃れさせないことが可能となるでしょう
And it'll probably make it possible for him to trap me in later impossible
何を
crimes.
恐れます
What are you afraid
あ
of?
なたにとって
Shouldn't this be a
強
powerful
力
move
な
for you?
一手じゃありません
しかしそれは
It's a move you're pressuring
お
me to
前が
make.
敷いた上での手だ。お前はそれによって俺の何かの陣形を崩そうとしてい
You're
る。
trying to make me weaken my position in some
どん
way.
な妙手も相手に望まれたなら、それは握手に同じです。
No matter how good a move seems, it's a bad move when it's what your opponent
し
wants.
かしここで全員という
It's
言葉
hard
を
to
避
avoid
け
the
ること
word
も
everyone
難し
here.
い。
The red truth can cut the weak reasoning of the human side apart over and over. In the past, I feared its ruthlessness, however, I also learned quickly it could be used as a basis for a counterattack.
赤き真実は
The red truth is a card, treasured sword.
気持ち
Now I'm aware of how,
今は痛いくらいにわかる。
painfully aware of how Beato felt. It can kill with ease, but it's not something to be used unnecessarily. Using it carelessly will end up... We've heard this 20 times! Hurley, you fuck up.
どうします
What will you
交
do?
流でも結
We can
構
put
で
this
す
on cold
よ
if you want.
いや、
No.
わかった。
Okay, I
認める
acknowledge
そ
it.
れ以外の全員がいとこ部屋にいることを認める。
I acknowledge everyone else is in the cousin room.
ありがとうございますバトラさん
Thank you very much, Battler
実
San.
に美しく
Beautifully done.
困りました
I'm in
こ
trouble.
の状況で魔女からの手紙が現れたりなんかしたら一体誰を疑えばいい
The
の
letter from
や
which
ら
comes in this situation. Who could I suspect? She said she was in trouble, but her face didn't look troubled at all. On the contrary, she looked as though she just succeeded in placing a huge opening move. In a witch's game, even a single mistake can be fatal. In both chess and shogi, you can't get a piece back once you've moved it. The last exchange left a bad aftertaste as though flesh had been torn and bones broken.
所在確認はこれで十分のはずだ。
That should be enough of confirming positions. Shall we continue the
ゲー
game?
ムを進め
そうしま
Alright,
す
we shall.
ドラノール
Lenore.
はいエリカ卿
Yes, Lady Erica.
それでは早速始めましょう
Get started right
慈
away.
悲深いゲームマスター様がくださった権利を
Use the privilege our merciful game master given us.
はい心得てます
Understood.
ガートルードコーネリア
Gertrude, Cornelia.
3部屋許された権利のうちの2部屋分を行
Use
使
2 rooms
し
with
ま
the
す
3 seals we were given.
金形慎んで
Let it be known that
了解するものなりや
we understand.
いとこ部屋と隣部屋
Yeah,
を
the
封
cousin
印
room and the next room over. Yep.
これで犠牲者以外の全員を封じました
With this, everyone's been sealed except the victims.
これ以降何が起こっても封印の中の人間たちは問題となりません
Whatever happens after this, the humans within the seals won't be a problem. Gunfire from an adjoining room because apparently they can't find bullet holes. Gunfire from below. Gunfire from outside. And the people inside the room killing each other. Of course, he'll just say someone in the room killed it. And he'll say no one in the room killed them. Right? Everyone commit suicide? I'm expecting
扉窓の封印により
by the seals on the doors
い
and
とこ部
windows.
屋隣部屋の両部屋の密封は保証されました
Complete sealing of both cousin room and the room next over has been guaranteed. For just an instant, a red longsword returned to Delanor's hand. You think the only guns are in the room, right? They didn't say those are the only guns. Those are just the guns they took. Also, there's a pretty decent chance that all three of the... I believe it's what? All three of the Siester sisters are guns? I think all three of the Siester sisters are guns, right? And they're different. They're actually different guns, too. Furthermore, people have been killed by guns when all three of those people... when everyone was equipped with a gun. Also, there's 4 guns. Forgot that one. There are 4 guns, not 3, right? And there's only 3 being used this time. There's never been red text about the number of guns, but they seem to change by game. What was I going to say? Where's the Siester sisters when you need them? I don't see them. They haven't been introduced. Next page, maybe? Oh, okay. No Siester sisters this game. Gonna say, I'm pretty sure there's different guns. I'm pretty sure not only are there different guns, but there's also guns with the penetrating power to shoot through the floor. Because I'm pretty sure that's how Kyrie died. So, since their group had all the guns and they got killed with guns, there's probably more guns lying around. There's also been people killed with guns while everyone with guns was in a location. So there's more than just the guns lying around. If game 1 and 2 had 1 gun, every other game had none, or every adult had 1. Yeah, we've had 4 guns in play at the same time, at most, I believe. Known guns. But we also had people killed with guns. And there were still guns on their bodies. Meaning someone else. Like, I'm going to assume if there is a round hole in your forehead, that you were probably killed by a gun. You are like, if there's a hole blown in your body that's like, you know, 2 centimeters, a centimeter wide, I'm going to assume that's a gunshot and not magic missile. So, there's a bunch of people who got killed by guns all across the game where all the guns were accounted for or believed accounted for. I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to say that all the guns are accounted for here. Like, lots of people can get killed by guns here. For an instant, a red longsword returned to Delanor's hand. She'd been given permission to draw it, thanks to the red truth she'd finally gained. When the fight concerned these 2 sealed rooms from now on, Delanor would be able to use that merciless blade, the red key. This overwhelming power could slice even the Game Master in half. Yeah, and that's why Mock says the legendary gun mage, Cal 50. For a while, Erica and Delanor just grinned at each other. Entranced by the ruthless red light that was burned into their eyes. I mean, I already know people in the room are going to die, and they're going to die, and people are going to be like, and Battler's probably going to have to give out the red truth that nobody in that room killed them. That's already determined, based on how the scenario is set up. Either that, because Battler doesn't seem like the person you're just going to have them open the door to say, fuck you. Battler plays along too nicely, so they're probably going to have someone inside the room die. Yeah. So they were entranced by the ruthless red light that was burned into their eyes. They just stared at each other for a while. Senior 8. Let me ask a question. What is it?
人間側プレイヤーは魔女の出題を人間の仕業で読み解くのが戦い方と知るものなりや。
The players on the human side are to interpret questions proposed by the witch as being the work of humans.
あなたに相違なし。
Not mistaken.
なれば、なぜにエリカ教と上司ドラノールは
That's so. Why are Lady Erica and Commander
犯
Delano
行の余地ある人間を自ら減らすように戦うなりや。
fighting to lower the number of humans who can commit crimes? Cornelia's question was a very simple one. The two had made a move boldly, making it sound like it was a powerful one, almost as though it would greatly damage the witch. However, if you thought about it, Erica was just strangling her own neck.
これよりどのような事件が起こるかもまだわからぬと知りたまう。
We don't know what sort of crime will occur in the
むし
future.
ろ所在を確定させない人間が多い方が人間に有利ではないかと推測するものなりや。
Would it not be more advantageous to the people if there are more humans whose locations are not specified?
今はまだ。今日も上司主席も。
No,
そ
but
れを明
now
かす
is
段
not yet
階
the
にない
time
と知りたてま
for
つ
the
る。
lady or the commander to reveal their thoughts.
死後
Oh, just
陳謝するものなり。
idle chatter. Cornelia looked like she wasn't satisfied. In the previous game, when trying to help Kinzo escape from his study, Battler had desperately tried to break free from that closed room using various methods. As a result, Kinzu escaped into the darkness of night, and it had later been possible to treat him like an elusive phantom. In other words, closed rooms were advantageous to witches and disadvantageous to humans. Witches proposed closed rooms, and humans destroyed and denied them. That should have been the standard tactic of the game. And yet Erica created closed rooms herself, sealing a full 11 humans in them. In other words, this was the same as abandoning the right to use those 11 people when explaining all of her later tricks. Battler, in the past, had confirmed the location of certain people, but that had been to check whether pieces existed, and with which he could break closed rooms, a completely different situation. So, checking whether people existed with which he could break closed rooms. Alright, cool. Why had Erica taken these 11 people, also her pieces, and sealed them in a closed room? Cornelia hadn't experienced enough fights to know this move. I mean, I think she's... Let's see... Okay, Battler killed someone. Red Tech says they were killed from the outside. She accuses the other group. I mean, can she just say the other people did it? Battler says they didn't do it either. That doesn't really follow. She says the locations of all people on the island are known. The people haven't left. Doesn't that just result in only 2 possibilities? Like, she's narrowed the possibilities down to 2 locations? So if someone dies, Erica says no one's left the room, but someone died, therefore someone in that room or someone in the adjacent room killed them. And if Battler denies both of them, then Battler can't really deny both of them because they have to be humanly possible. So Erica wins by making 2 suggestions. Basically, she's making it so she's narrowing the number of possibilities to what they kill themselves, the person in room A killed them, or the person in room B killed them, right? That's her goal. Cornelia hadn't experienced... Okay, read that already. It looked as though they were trapping themselves.
不気味な一手ですね。
Disturbing move.
一体エリカは何を企んでいるの
What
で
on
しょう
earth is Erica planning?
攻撃とは限らねえさ。
Not necessarily an attack.
チェスも将棋もそうだろ。
In
キ
chess
ン
and
グの守り
shogi,
を固めておくのだって立派な戦略だ。
strengthening the guard around your king is an excellent strategy.
つまり、この2部屋の封印は攻めでなく守りだと。
In other words, the seals around those 2 rooms aren't an attack, but a guard.
そう考えるのが妥当だろ
Seems likely.
おかげで生存者たちにちょっかいが出しづらくなった。
Thanks to that, it's hard to lay a hand on the survivors.
第2の番が実行しにくくなったってわけだ。
It'll be tough to carry out the second Twilight.
あ
I
あ、
see.
なるほど。魔女側は謎を多く提示した方が有利。
Which side has an advantage when more riddles are presented? Yes. That said, it would be kind of nice if Battler made the NPCs slightly hostile to everything she demanded, since she's just able to do whatever she wants on this game. Unlike Battler, who wasn't able to basically do anything for any of his games, Eric is able to quite nicely set up anything she wants and make all the people seem very compliant and willing to go along with it, which is a little bit annoying. Alright.
そうだ。何しろ。
After all, even
一つ
if
で
one
も
riddle
謎が
goes
通れば
unsolved,
魔女の勝ちなんだからな。
the witch wins.
多くの密室を提示した方が有利に戦える。
After each new closed room we present, it increases our advantage. The riddles that the witch side sets up are equivalent to attacks. The human side must perfectly intercept all those. It's almost like a penalty shootout where letting a single point slip by means defeat. So the witch side wants to increase its number of attacks. The human side wants to lower the number of attacks. When Battler fought on the human side, he hadn't thought of the survivors holding up in a room being particularly useful. However, from the witch's side perspective, the strategy was simple but effective. What made Beato incredible was how she bluffed and sneered at this tactic as though it was completely useless. And then people were dumb enough to allow it to work and cheering for it to work. It was kind of dumb, wasn't it? Where Battler just let her break all these closed rooms as often as she wanted. On the inside, she must have been worried about how to break down these barricades in each game, and then Battler just went along with all the barricades being broken down. Let's see if Erica goes along with it. Right now, I'm sure that...
なるほど。
I see.
事件が発生できないように守りを固めるのも人間側の戦い方なんですね。
So strengthening your guard to make it hard for a crime to occur is one way for the human side to fight.
しかし、 それは平凡な一
However,
手
it's a
だ。
simple move.
あの名探偵フルドエリカがあれだけ自信満々に強打するほどの一手じゃない。
Great Detective Furuto Erica wouldn't have looked so confident after playing a move like that. She's got something better going on. Would Erica be happy after playing a defensive move? Though this move looks as though she's restraining herself, it's also extremely unlikely she's playing defensively.
これはきっと守りじゃなく攻めなんだ。
I'm sure it's an attack, not a move made for defense.
どういう攻撃か理解はできねえがな。
You don't know what kind of attack it is? It's narrowing the possibilities for a blue strike.
次は私たちの手番ですが、どうしますか？
Next is our move. What do we do? Two options. Either have people intentionally break the sealed room by leaving for something, assuming Erica is not just sitting there watching the door. Just to mess with her, so that you can say that the sealed room was not sealed and hasn't been sealed after you sealed it, or you have someone in the room kill someone in the room, or you have someone in the room die.
とりあえず表向きは奴は第一の番の推理ではなく第二の番を防ぐための守りに手番を費やした。
For the moment, she has, at least apparently, spent her turn on strengthening her guard to stop the second Twilight instead of reasoning about the first one.
押さば引け、引かば押せだ。
If they push, pull back. If they pull, pull back, push.
攻めていくしかない。
In that case, it's time for us to attack.
しかし、どう攻めればいいやら、ゲストハウスはかなりの守りになっています。
Guest house is well guarded.
そうだな。ゲストハウスの全域が今やエリカの支配下に見える。
Appears as though the guest house is entirely under Erica's control now.
ビショップやナイトのように敵陣に食い込むのを得意とする駒だっていろいろ。
There are certain pieces like bishops and knights whose specialty is cutting behind enemy lines. Okay, Battler, what do you got for us? Battler snapped his fingers and a single gold butterfly appeared from the darkness. It flew in front of the chessboard, trailing gold sparks behind it. It landed without a sound and then transformed into a black piece representing the witch's darkness.
X-ray. これもチェス用語だったな。
That's a chess term.
はい。
A high level technique, yes.
一見、敵の支配下に見えるマスが、
It's when a square appears to be under an enemy's
実際
control.
は自分の駒が十分に影響力を効かせていることを見透かして攻撃す
You
る
spotted your
高
own
等技
pieces
法です。
actually have enough influence over it, so you attack.
エリカ、
Erica.
生存者をすべて密閉し、次なる俺の攻撃を防げると本気で信じているなら、
If you believe you can stop my next attack by sealing up
そ
the
れは
survivors,
甘い考えだ。
that's naive. Battler raised his new black piece high. His target was a single open space deep behind enemy lines.
どう受ける？
How will you handle it?
これが俺の
This is my response.
応酬だ。
これでようやく羽が伸ばせます。
Now I can finally stretch my wings. Oh, she's
ま
on the
ず
ground
は
floor.
屋敷に深夜の散歩と参りましょう
First
か。
off, let's take a midnight stroll to the mansion.
殺人犯が潜んでいるかもしれない不気味な屋敷にこのような深夜に散歩とは
You would take a stroll in the middle of the night to an eerie mansion where a killer might be hiding.
水教な御人
You must be
です
insane. Okay, more.
とんでも
Not
な
at all.
い。ようやく得た自由時間じゃないです
It's
か。
hard to get this time to myself,
今
didn't it?
の私はプール授業の後の自由時間みたい
Feels
に
like the free
ワ
time
ク
after
ワ
a
クして
swimming
いま
lesson.
す。
Now that Berncastel was nowhere in sight, Erica was regaining her high spirits. She wasn't exaggerating when she said she was spreading her wings. Delanor knew she was risking her own destruction in this game, and she was not in a favorable position by any means. Delanor could do nothing but assist Erica so she could fight to the best of her abilities. I mean, if Badler wants to break the seals, that's not hard to
よ
do.
し。
Now, because Erica's
ゲ
left.
スト
Alright.
ハウス1階の戸締まりも完璧ですね。
The locks on the first floor of the guest house are
玄
perfect.
関もちゃんとチェーンロックで封じら
The
れていま
entrance is
す。
sealed with a chain lock. Before leaving the guest house, Erica did a check of the first floor, making sure nothing was out of place. There, she found a flashlight and an umbrella in the servant room next to the entrance.
では参りましょう
Let's go.
え、
Yes.
まずは6人の死因くらいは確定しなくちゃ。
Yeah, at least have to check the cause of death for all sakes. She unset the chain, unlocked the door, and opened it. The freezing outside air poured in.
風はだいぶあるようです。
It appears to be quite windy still.
まあ、この体など私にとって肉の売り。
This body's just a cage of flesh to me.
濡れようが冷えようが。
I don't care if it gets wet or
どうでもいいこと
cold.
できましょう。
Let's go. When Erica dropped her gaze to open her umbrella, she noticed something lying at her feet. She did say if she got a letter, she'd be very irritated. Oof.
これはいつもの手紙。
It's one of the usual letters. It was one of those letters sent by the witch with the seal of the one-winged eagle on it. It had been wedged under the outside mat in front of the entrance, as though someone predicted Erica would eventually leave the mansion this way. It was in the shadows of the large eaves, so it avoided the rain entirely.
早速来ましたね。
It's here already.
まるで待ち受けていたかのように。
Well, Shizuo is waiting for me. Why do we even need these if they're for Erica? Like, she can just go talk to Battler. It's not like there's a non-meta character. She bent over and picked it up. She then tore it open recklessly and pulled the letter inside out of it. A message had been written in neat letters.
ようこそ、フルドエリカ様ですって。
Welcome, Furude Erika-sama, it says.
やれやれ。私を名指しで
It's
ですか。
calling me out by name.
完全に読まれてますね。
They totally saw this coming.
内容は何です？
What does it say?
犯行予告です。
It's an advance notice for a
いや、
crime.
事後報告と言うべきですね。
Rather, a report after the
後
fact.
ろ宮バトラの死体をお預かりしたそうです。
Apparently, they've taken Ushiromiya Battler's
どうぞ探してみてくださいとか言ってます。
It's basically saying, please try looking for it.
第二の晩の寄り添うし二人を引き裂けではないのですか？
So this isn't the tear apart the two who are close of the second Twilight?
まあ、死体が消失する云々はベアとのゲームでも何度かありました。
Disappearing corpses happened a few times in Beato's games too.
それほど真味のある話では
There's
ありませ
nothing
ん。
really new about this. Erica shrugged and scorned the letter. However, this letter was a real attack. All the survivors were sealed in rooms on the second floor, and at the very end, after she had gone around with Kraus and the others to check the locks on doors and windows, Erica personally confirmed there was nothing at this spot. This is an attack saying someone who shouldn't be here placed the letter, and this someone was a witch. It was also an attack that the old Beato often used.
やれやれ。
Sheesh.
見せ方も同じならトリックまで同じだって言うんじゃないでし
The
ょう
way you
ね。
show it's the same. Please tell me the actual trick isn't the
ド
same
ラノー
too.
ル、
Eleanor,
バトラを呼び出してください。
please call Battler here.
了解です。
Understood.
バトラ卿、当方の手番を所望です。
Lord Battler, we wish to take our turn.
了解だ。
Got
受けて
it.
立つ。
Well, let's have it.
申し訳ありません。
Sorry.
実は指し手の宣言ではありません。
I actually don't have a move to declare.
実は
The truth is,
一つ謝らなければならないことがありまし
something I
た。
need to apologize for. Apologize? Battler and Beata's eyes went wide. However, though Erica said she wanted to apologize, she had a confident look on her face as though that apology would be a new move. The Battler glared at her dubiously without letting his guard down.
例の遡っての封印についてですが、
About those retroactive
実
seals.
はすでに一箇所封印しておりました。
I'd actually already sealed one
そ
place.
れのご報告が遅くなりましたことをお詫びしたいと思います。
I apologize for taking so long to report this to you.
すでに封印していた。
You already sealed something?
つまり、お前はもうこれで3部屋分を使い切っていたということか。
In other words, you already used up all 3 rooms worth?
はい。
Yes.
直ちに報告するお約束だったのですが、うっかり失念してここ
Well,
まで
I
ゲーム
promised I'd
を進
report
め
it right
てし
away,
まいま
but
し
I
た。
forgot until now.
心よりお詫
My
びいたします。
apologies.
心より詫びてる顔には全
You
く
don't
見
look
えな
like
いぞ。
someone who's sincerely apologizing. Well, that's
まあ
fine.
俺が許した権利だ。
I'm the one who gave you the privilege.
それで、
Yeah, of course you forgot, right?
いつ、
Right. So, what
ど
did
こ
you
を
seal?
封印してい
Battler's
たっ
room?
て？
ドラノール、
Eleanor,
ご報告申し上げます。
allow me to report.
エリカ卿による死体検視時にバトラの客室を封印しておりましたことを ご報告申し上げます。
Battler's guest room was sealed at the time of Lady Erica's inspection of the corpses. That was predictable. Beato tried not to let it show on her face, but her eyebrows twitched visibly and her gaze flicked over to Battler.
本来なら5つの密室すべてに封印を施したかったところなのですが、回数が足りませんでした
I'd
の
like
で
to seal all the closed rooms, but I didn't have enough packing tape. And Battler's corpse was oddly suspicious, the only one out that was resting peacefully instead of brutally murdered with blood everywhere, so I decided to pick that one.
ゲームマスターのあなたに敬意を表してバトラさんの死体の部屋だけを封印させてもらい
Out
ま
of
した
respect for the game master, I sealed only the room with Battler-san's corpse. Yep, sure.
ご丁寧に俺の棺桶の蓋を
You
閉
were
じて
kind
くれ
enough to
た
close
わ
the
け
lid on my coffin.
つい先ほど思い出しましたも
I
の
remembered
で
a short while
屋
ago.
敷に到着しあなたの死体の客室を調べるときにご報告すればいいかと思っていました
I remembered a short while ago. I was planning to tell you when we reached the mansion and investigated the guest room with your
し
corpse
か
in it.
しこの手紙の登場で急ぎ
When
ご報
the
告した
letter
方がい
appeared,
いと
I
思い
figured
ま
I
し
should
て
report it right away.
ど
Why
う
did
し
you
て
think
そう
so?
思うのですか？
いえ、何しろバトラさんは自分の死体の客室が封印されてることを知らずにゲーム
After
を
all,
進めてたわ
Battler
けで
was
すから
playing the game ignorant of the fact his corpse was sealed in the guest room.
それによって
Because of
こ
that, I
の
thought
登場した手紙
might change things regarding the
話が
appearance
変
of
わっ
this
てく
letter.
る可能性もあるかなと
いとこ部屋と隣部屋を封印中です。
The cousin room and the next room over are currently
事
sealed.
後報告で申し訳ないですが、さらにあ
I
なたの
apologize
死体
for the
の
late
客室
report.
も封印中
The
で
guest
す。
room with your corpse in it's also
そし
sealed.
て島にはエリカ卿を抜いて17人。
There's 17 people on the island excluding Lady Erica.
18人目の存在は過去のゲームですでに否定済み
The
です。
existence of an 18th person has already been denied in a previous game.
となると
In that
手
case,
紙
we're
を受
thinking
ける
someone
人
who could
物
have placed this
と
letter
あ
and
な
the
たの
disappearance
死
of your
体消
corpse.
失ひょっとして
I thought maybe
話も変わ
might
って
change
く
things
る
a
か
bit.
なと思いまして
Erica laughed crudely while staring into Battler's eyes to see if he's panicked or disturbed.
バトラさん、
Beatrice acts. Battler just laughs. Hmm.
落ち着け
Stay calm.
エリカの報告が遅くなっただけの話だ
Erica just made her report a bit
何
late.
も焦ることなどない
There's no need to lose your cool. Erica suspected it since the beginning. It was possible Battler actually hadn't been killed and was still alive, and if he was alive, then the letter that had suddenly appeared was easy to explain even though all the survivors were sealed up. Judging by Beato's faint agitation, maybe Erica's guess had been right on the mark. Battler played dead somehow, got around to Erica's examination, and while everyone was barricaded themselves in the guest house, he snuck out of the guest room. After that, he placed a letter detailing the disappearance of his own corpse in the entrance to the lobby and hid himself. If it was the truth, then the seals that had been placed on Battler's guest room at the time of Erica's examination were now very significant. In other words, if this was the trick they used, then Battler would certainly have broken the seals when he left his guest room. The trick would not be workable without breaking the seals. Since the survivors were all sealed up inside the guest house, then if the seals on the guest room were broken, it meant acknowledging at least one of the victims was actually alive. If Battler knew about the seals earlier, it was likely he would have advanced the game in a different way to avoid this. In other words, it's very likely an announcement about the seals would have had a large effect on the rest of Battler's game. Erica was saying if Battler avoided breaking the seals because he was pretending to be a corpse, and instead remained inside the guest room, perhaps this letter would not have appeared in the story. If Battler was actually alive and placed the letter there, then now Erica's seals had come into play. There was a chance his trick would cause a contradiction somewhere down the line. The sort of contradiction called a logic error.
ロジックエラー
Logic errors?
今回の物語の
I think we
ずい
heard
ぶ
them
ん最初
about
の
them
方で
earlier in the
聞
story.
いた気がするわ。
魔女側が犯してはならぬ最大最悪のミス反則手だ
It's a violation of the rules, the greatest and worst form of error which the witch side must avoid making. Do they have to, though? I would assume you could, since you can retroactively add things to the players, you can retroactively add things to the game master. We don't have to add play fair.
物語の表裏が合わぬこと、矛盾すること
It was
とか言
something
って
about
た
the
わ
two
ね。
sides of the tale not matching, creating a contradiction.
伏せたカップの中に飴玉が現れる魔法の話を覚えているか
You remember the magic for making candy appear inside an overturned cup?
ええ、
Yes.
マリアお姉ちゃんとエリカがそれをめぐって論争したわね。
Mario Nechan and Erica were fighting about that.
あれはお姉ちゃんが目を閉じている間にカップの中にこっ
That
そ
was a
り
simple
飴
trick
玉を
where
入れる
someone
だけ
slipped
の
the candy into the cup while
単純な手品
Nechan
だ
had her
った。
eyes closed.
そうだ。その手品の過程を観測していないマリアに結果のみが与えられ、
Since Maria didn't observe the process of the trick and was only given the
魔法
result,
でカップの中に飴玉が現れたとする魔法
she
元素
accepted
を受
the
け入れ
illusion
た
of
か
the
ら
magic
魔法が成立した。
that the candy had appeared by magic inside the cup and magic was established.
そうか。
Okay,
ロジック
the
エラー
logic
とは
error would be
不可能になってしまった手品とい
a
う意
trick
味ね。
that's become impossible. If that happens, is it a stalemate because the witch side can't make the game solvable? You would think so, but I mean, there's a decent chance they just claim victory here. The conditions for victory are incredibly flexible. In theory, that would... Yeah. If you think about it, Erica and Maria's fierce red and blue truth battle over this magic was the real opening of this tale's fight. Let's try to remember that exchange. The heartless truth was it had all been a trick, that making the candy appear in the cup by magic had been nothing more than Beato's claim. Yeah, it's been said it destroys the game and must be avoided at all costs. Magic can only do things one can accomplish. In theory, you'd say it should be escapable, though, because things are being applied retroactively that weren't true beforehand, making logic errors even possible. For example, currently, due to the ability of retroactive abilities, and the fact that you can declare things and the game master can maybe not know they occurred, we can do things like this. We can do things like, you know, Battler tries to have, I don't know, say, George take, Hideyoshi's gun and kill people. And then she can say, actually, I poisoned everyone in the room. They're all dead. And suddenly, and she's like, I also poisoned everyone in the other room. Everyone's dead. And Battler can be like, well, okay. And she's like, there's no non-human murders. I killed everyone. The end. I'm not a detective, so I can kill everyone, right? Due to the ability of us adding retroactive things to the game, we can do a lot of stuff creating logic errors. Where she can be like, actually, or she can do something like this. When I checked the corpses, I decapitated every single one of them. And Battler can't do anything about that. Right? She's like, I checked the corpses, I decapitated every single one of them, and I killed everyone in all the other rooms. Everything was done by people. I killed everybody. I also killed all the people in the rooms. Like, she can just say stuff that happened and didn't happen in the show, right? That's been displayed previously. I don't really like application of retroactive stuff, but I mean, we can do that, right? Anyway, I don't think it really matters for this game, but it's getting quite annoying adding annoying stuff like this. Like adding retroactive changes that the players can interpret or implement later is kind of lame. That the GM is not aware of is kind of silly, because then you could just claim you did anything that would benefit your side. If you think your action wasn't useful enough, you can say you also did that. Which is probably better than the detective, because then you can just say you did things that you didn't do. But I guess the detective can just say they did that anyway. So really, does she not just have her detective powers anyway, because she can say she did anything she wants to? Anyway, magic can only do things one can accomplish. Not that it matters, because he may not have used Battler to move. In other words, you can only have magical result if it's something that could have been done without magic. Let's be clear, there are two general types of magic. If you summon giants, and if you make towers grow from the ground. But when the lid's taken off, nothing's happened in the Rose Garden. That's one type of magic. It's just an illusion. It's a lie with no observers that takes place where the witch says it did in a location without any of the anti-magic toxin. Magic that doesn't have to match a result is the most simple kind of a lie. It's the same as a worthless delusion, illusion, and a daydream. Even Battler saw through it partway through the third game. Also, we did know that the seals were retroactive. I even pointed that out when I said that she can just have the seals placed on someone. She can just have the seals placed on someone's room after they go into it. So I wasn't entirely not expecting this to be a thing that she did, where she just declared that it was done after she wanted something to have happened. She can just be like, oh, I did this. I put, it's like, if something happens in the room, she can just say, I put seals on it, tell me what happened. That was well within the realm of possibilities. Because she only said she'll tell you. I think they said specifically that she'll tell you when it matters. She didn't say when they did it. She said she'll say when it matters. And so the second Battler's corpse has been announced to have been removed from the room, it suddenly matters. Anyway. Battler saw threw it partway through the game. Yep, the illusion magic. Then there's another kind, which we call true magic. Magic that matches a result. The cup trick is an example of magic that matches the result, since an observer actually checks to see that the cup's contents were empty before seeing a candy appear there. Thus, an observer of the incident is created. I've discovered one big rule that magic matching a result has to follow, unlike the magic of illusions. The rule is that only the unobserved process of what you can accomplish can be transformed into magic. You can speak more generally than ruthlessly. I also don't know if I care about sealing the door, because... I also don't know if I care about sealing the door after someone dies, because it could easily have been one of the other people that moved it, and Battler can just say that's what happened. Like, while she was discussing with Hideyoshi Crouse and whatnot, she was busy because she's not a detective. Someone else moved the corpse. Like, that could happen. Anyone else could have gone into the room afterwards and not cared about the seal, and just moved Battler's corpse because they're sad about it, like Rudolph, if he wanted to have it happen. But I don't know. Battler's probably going to play in a way that makes it so that that's really bad for him because he throws a lot. Let's see. I can speak more generally and ruthlessly. In short, all forms of magic or tricks. The only thing that can be accomplished without magic can have a matching result. Ironically, it also proves magic doesn't actually exist. But out of respect for the Witch's game, let's call it making the game solvable and fair for human players.
つまり、カップの中の飴玉が今回はエリカの前に現れた謎の手紙ということ
Instead
に
of
なっ
the
ている。
candy inside the cup, we now have this mysterious letter appearing in front of
これ
Erica.
は手品でなくては
They
な
have
ら
to
な
be
い。
tricked.
それをお兄ちゃんは魔女が魔法で手紙をそこに置いたと主張することで結果を伴う魔法にしようとしている。
By claiming the witch set the letter there by magic, Oni-chan's trying to create magic that matches the result. He's going to claim Battler put it there. He's going to say Battler didn't put it there, probably. If he was intelligent, it wouldn't be Battler that put it there.
そうだ。
In fact, randomly having someone go into a room with her seal on it would be the most sensible thing, but I don't know. Does plot mean it has to be a relevant seal that breaks and not just an irrelevant seal? Because that would make it boring for the detective? I don't know. Correct. Like, is it reasonable for Hideyoshi to check for Eriko once? If he hears, like, a floorboard creaking or some shit, to break the seal on his own? I don't fucking know. It seems plot-wise they wouldn't make that happen because that would defeat the purpose of her seals. Her seals are magical in nature and prevent people from leaving them who aren't murderers or
生
some
存者は
shit.
全員ゲストハウスの密室に
Via
封じら
power
れ
of
ている
plot.
以上
Correct. Since all the survivors are sealed in the closed room of the guest
突
house,
然に現れたこの手紙は魔女以外に置くことは不可能な
it's
不
possible
思
to
議な
embellish
魔
this
法に就職することができる
suddenly appearing letter and say it was a curious bit of magic for only a witch could have
し
placed it
かし
there.
それでもつまりは可能な手品でなくてはならないと
But
いうこ
even
と
so,
だ
it must be a possible trick in the end. In order to see through the trick with the candy and the cup, Erika had countered with the blue truth, saying that the candy had been snuck in there while her eyes were closed. This is the correct answer, so Maria hadn't had any red that she could use. But what if she had used it? For example, what if Maria used the red truth to then say, until I lifted the cup, the closed room of the overturned cup remained intact?
赤き真実は真実にしか使えないんでしょ？
The red truth can only be used to refer to the truth, right? It could refer to any truth.
嘘をシャーシャーと言えたら重大なルール違反だわ。
If you could lie with it, it'd be a violation of the rules.
そうだ
Yeah.
自分のトリックを否定する赤き真実は大きなルール違
Denying your
反
own
だ
trick with red is a violation of the
し
rules.
かしその赤き真実に抵触しない別のトリックに即座に差し替えられるなら
However, if you instantly switch over to another trick that doesn't violate
い
that
さ
red
さ
truth,
かアンフェアではあるがその赤き
it
真
might
実
be
は
slightly
認め
unfair,
ら
but
れ
that
る
red truth can be acknowledged.
この場合はカップの中の密室は維持されていたという赤き真実に矛盾しない手品のトリックを
In case the witch side would need to immediately propose another trick that doesn't contradict the red
魔
truth.
女側は
即座に提出しなければならないと
Stayed
い
in the
うこと
closed room
ね。
inside the cup was preserved. If Hideyoshi leaves the room, it's because Battler decides it, and then it would ruin the closed room mystery because Eric could just say Hideyoshi's the murderer. No, Hideyoshi opens the door and closes it immediately after, violating her seal, and then they can say, oh, I don't know, it was nighttime, we don't know if anyone left. Something like that. Or like, I fell asleep, sorry. So now now anyone in the room could have left the room, but she doesn't know who left the room, or something like that. So I'm like wondering if something like that's gonna happen, but I think Battler's gonna not do that. Then she knows the seal is broken, use that to accuse people in the room. Yeah, and? You break the seal in the room, you're just left with no closed room, so anyone could have done it, and then you have another sealed room somewhere else, and you have no clue. Then you have another closed room mystery somewhere else Battler proposes that she can't solve. Like, you could do that if you really wanted to, because she's not guarding the rooms. Erica just to prove the murder is possible. I mean, Erica can't use Blue Truth to say anyone in the building could have done it. Like, I think that's silly, because then Battler could have, like, then you could have just done, then in any of the confrontations with Beatrice, Battler could have just done, put everyone out by name and said they're the killer, and that would have been the end of it. That is not really a sensible use of Blue Truth. They have to prove how it was done, and by breaking the seal in her room, because there's a billion people in the room, it's like kind of reasonable because someone might actually break it. And just ignore it because they're all NPCs and she's not actually watching it. That would be okay. But I think Battler's going to play inside of it. And it's because, I mean, the letter could have been placed as they were going into the building. I don't really care about the letter. Anyway. It doesn't contradict, yeah. So you can immediately substitute and propose another trick that doesn't contradict the red truth, stating the closed room inside the cup was
証
preserved.
拠を突きつけられて二転三転させる政治家の言い訳みたいだわ。
Yeah, the witch side would immediately have to propose another trick. Like the excuses of a politician when he keeps backtracking as new evidence is shown to him.
そうだ。
Right, right.
まあその程度の赤ならばまだ苦しい言い訳でも言い逃れられよう。
For a red like this, she might be able to get away with some
テー
painful
ブルに
excuse.
仕掛けがあったとか、二重底の手品用カップだったとか。
Maybe there was some device on the table or a trick cup with a
し
fake
かし
bottom.
もしあらかじめその可能性についても赤で否定があった
If
な
those
ら、
possibilities were
それ
denied
も通
beforehand,
用しない。
this would not
赤
be
き
valid.
真実が多ければ多いほど言い逃れの余地もなくな
The
る
more
わ
red
けだ。
truths there are, the harder it is to talk your way out. In actuality, the candy had been put in the cup while Maria's eyes were closed. However, when Erica saw through that Maria used the red truth to say the closed room of the cup had been preserved, the witch would have to rush and revise the scenario to a new trick that still worked logically after the red. Revising the scenario is an unfair move that would never be allowed in the mystery genre. However, the very act of revising the scenario takes place inside the witch's head, which is an unobservable world. So if she claimed she'd been using the trick with the fake bottom cup from the beginning, no one could deny it. Even if there was a trick done with while One-Chan's eyes were closed, as long as the witch leaves a way out, they can even switch between truths. Rather than calling this an action available to witches, we should certainly say it's usable by the game master, the one who creates and writes. But even so, the new truth can't contradict previously stated truths. If the red truth makes it so that the trick no longer makes logical sense, there will be a mismatch between two sides of the sense. The illusory result the game master claims is magic, and the true result was brought about by a trick. When we get a contradiction, it no longer makes logical sense. We call it a logic error, and that would mean the destruction of the witch's game. ELDR. Make the front and back end. Make what could have happened and what happened real. This world's a game that's possible to explain with humans.
すべての魔法はトリックでも可能なようになっていな
And
け
in
れば
other
な
words,
ら
it
ない。
must be possible for all magic to have done by
トリ
choice
ッ
as
クで
well.
不可能だったら人間側は打つ手なしのステイルメイト。
It's impossible to do with tricks. The human side has no move and we get a stalemate.
いいや違う。
Not quite.
それこそがロジックエラーと呼ぶ
That's where we get
致
the
命
fatal and
的
horrible violation
か
known
つ
as the
最
logic
悪の
error.
反則手だ。
When the witch's side does this, the game is instantly destroyed and they suffer a fatal defeat.
お兄ちゃんは多分エリカにトリックをカンパされたわ。
Erica's probably seen through to Oni-chan's
探
trick.
偵権限のないエリカは
Without the detective
検視が
authority,
できない。
she couldn't perform an examination of
そ
the
れを理由
corpses
に
because
死
of
んだ
that.
ふりを続け、こっそり客室を出てゲストハウスの玄関に手紙を置いた。
Continued to play dead, snuck out of the guest house, placed the letter at the entrance to the guest house.
しかしバトラが許した遡って封印ができるなどとする大甘な配慮により
Because
話が
Battler
狂い出
was
し
so
た。
overly gracious in giving out those retroactive seals, things went wrong.
お兄ちゃんのバカ。
Stupid Oni-chan.
まだ現時
The
点
current
では
situation
狼狽するほどではあるまい。
Still does not warrant
客
panic.
室の封印が健在かどうかはまだ赤き真実で
Still hasn't
確
been
定して
specified
い
with
ない
red truth that the seals around the guest room are intact. Everyone, okay, so let's change it to all the bodies were hidden. All the bodies were relocated to the mausoleum / wherever the fuck the rest of the bodies are normally placed. Out of respect for the dead, just move several of the bodies and say like, oh yes, everyone agrees and wishes they could move the bodies or some shit again, but alas, they could only bring 3 of them or whatever. That would be like an okay evidence, because presumably all the bodies have been moved at some point, right? Or like all of the bodies at some point were moved sometime. Like the bodies didn't magically teleport. Somehow bodies got moved in the previous games. So we could probably use whatever bullshit they used for that to put them there. And just say they were relocating the bodies as usual. And then specify with red truth, the seals around the guest room are intact.
封印を破るも自
It's
由。
free to break the
破
seals.
らぬならバトラ以外が生きてたことにし手紙を置いた人間を差し替えてもよいだろう。
If he doesn't, he can probably make it so someone other than Battler was alive and swap them in as the person who placed the letter.
そうね。お兄ちゃんだけでなく、お母さんたちの死体だって赤で死亡は確
It's
定
not
していない。
just Oni-chan. The other corpses haven't been specified as dead in the red yet.
実はみんな死んだふりだったってことにしても、
It wouldn't be a problem if they
ま
were
だ
all
全然
faking.
問題ない。
そうだ。全くうろたえる段階
It's
に
too
な
soon
る。
to get flustered.
要はエリカの封印と手紙を置くトリックを矛盾させぬよう手を変えればいいだけの話。
All he has to do is change his move so Erica's seals and the placement of the letter don't contradict each other.
矛盾なく他の筋書きに変更するのだってゲームマスターに許された手の一つだわ。
Revising the plot without contradictions is one of the moves available to the game master. Yep.
しかし
However, taking a scenario one has
想
imagined
定したシナリオをそ
and
の途
revising
中
it
で
partway
変更
through
することは
can create flaws
物
in
語
the tale.
まだ第一の番を終えたばかりという段階を思えばあまりに痛恨の一手。
It'd be a very regrettable move to make when the first Twilight has only just ended.
どうやら自陣深くに駒を刺されたるはバトラの方だったようだな。
It would seem Battler was the one with an enemy piece moved deep behind his lines.
この紛れ込んだ一コマはブーツに入り込んだ一粒の小石のように今後
Hidden
一
piece
歩
will
一歩
probably
歩
cause
くたび
him
に違和感と痛みを与え続けることになるだろう。
Okay, we can talk again. Alright. This hidden piece will probably cause him pain and discomfort with each step from now on, like a pebble caught in one's shoe. I have no clue why that was an entire essay in Japanese.
この一粒の小石バトラを殺すやもしれぬ。
This single pebble might kill Battler.
まだロジックエラーと言える段階ではありま
Not
せん。
quite a logic error. Yep, Erica doesn't think so. And I think it's probably fixable too. But I'm afraid we're gonna have to find out whether it's really fixable next time.